All right, hey guys, and welcome back to Pretentious Cinephile 1982. I am here. I'm your host, Joseph Ngo, here with a longtime friend, old friend of mine from the Laser Boy podcast, Dat Nguyen. How you doing, Dat?
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me do this again.
Oh, thank you so much for talking the top 10 films of 2025. I know it's a bit late, but better late than never. And last time I had you on the podcast was the Laser Boy podcast, right, from 2019. So it's unfortunate that I couldn't get you back on. Or here we are again, 6 years later, 7 years later, right? So
yeah,
really, 6 years, yeah.
It's gone by really fast, but I'm glad to do this again, and particularly this year. I won't say it was the most spectacular year, but a great year to reflect on and talk about, and kind of I'm very curious. Obviously, we don't know each other's lists. I'm very curious on your selection and kind of like if your tastes have changed, or if there's any surprises in it. So
Right.
It's exciting for me.
Yeah, let me get started by asking you. Let me actually preface that by saying, you guys can check out past works on the blog, pretentiouscinephile1982.blogspot.com, and type us up in YouTube. It should be I'm the only Pretentious Cinephile 1982, so the only result that comes up in the YouTube. And we have a Pinterest full of cool, film-related memorabilia, maybe some hot toys I might add there I'm sitting here in Dad's office with a bunch of his hot toys, so I might definitely post some on the Pinterest there. But we got a lot of cool film cells, IMAX film cells, posters, 4K, releases, stuff like that. So check out our Pinterest whenever you guys can. And let's get started I'm going to ask you, Dad.
Let me clarify first that the hot toys are 1/6 scale action figures, not to be confused with, toys of a more illicit nature, so erotic nature.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes, the people can be, confused by the hot toys, right? So, yeah, that's fantastic clarification. But there's no judgment here. Even if it was adult hot toys either. So, no judgment.
Stop staring at the dildos, Joe.
Okay. I can't help it. There's massive, in black.
They're clean though.
Okay.
Just clean them for
Just
you.
as long as they're clean, all right, for me. So let me ask you to start with, you and I talk cinema like every year. Well, obviously, but have you noticed like a trend? Obviously, like pandemic and writer strike and stuff like that. But what was your experience like this year in cinema? Did you see like a trend or like some kind of uptick in quality or anything like that? Or
I think the whole year I was thinking about what a lot of commenters say about not having enough original movies, and how things are trending towards the mitigation of risk that Hollywood's taking. So a culmination of more sequels and all that, and so I'm in a way kind of consciously trying to pay attention to like, are we getting the same thing over and over? Yes, we are getting sequels and movies that are going to be more reliable, but at the same time there's a flood of original movies, and so I'm just kind of baffled on if you're not seeking out these movies though. Obviously the big budget and the big headlines are these Disney movies or Fox movies or Avatar and whatnot, but no, there's always a plethora of really good original movies from a lot of great creatives, and obviously that's my interest, but I don't feel there's not enough of them. Maybe this year there's maybe even more, so I'm kind of thinking about that juxtaposition of like, okay, yes, these are lower budget movies, yes, of course studios can't take the risk. I don't think they can do like, there's I think you and I will be talking about a movie that is an auteur movie that had $100-200 million attached to it.
Yeah.
This is a business. I don't know what the studios, how they're gonna think about it. But we're getting these type of movies this year still. So like this year, I think we're still gonna get kind of this dichotomy of original indie movies that maybe don't get enough support, but communities follow. But at the same time, we're gonna get a gluttony of high profile, big budget movies that are almost surefire box office successes, and overall maybe that's good for the industry. Like, we need a healthy industry. Only a healthy industry will help allow us to see more original work.
Yeah.
What about you?
Right, yeah, well said, man. I got to, yeah, say, even though, we're trending towards streaming. Obviously, everything like all the original auteur stuff is going to be like Netflix or Apple, something like that. So you could obviously see a clear distinction in that, and all the the box office like event type of films or like rides are going to be more, on the marquee of, they're going to be featured more for a theatrical audience. But yeah, in terms of like writing quality, I definitely see like no unencumbered, right? No writer strike, no COVID restrictions. I finally saw you see like this kind of I can't think of the word right now.
Maybe?
Yes,
Yeah.
resurgence,
Okay.
like a uptick in quality, like I was saying earlier. So I'm thinking about just top films in general,
Like less compromises, less backup, or like they're given more time
yeah,
versus the challenges that happened, like I said, during the strike, and how they had backup writers or whatnot, or
absolutely.
that they accepted
Yeah.
lower tier writing.
And all of the news this year, with Netflix acquiring the entire Warner,
Pending.
yeah, it's pending actually. Yeah, so good
Yeah.
point. But I do think that distinction is good now, so we can see, what did so I just saw The Rip the other night, the Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, same here.
It was okay. It was a little.
Yeah.
I
By
couldn't
the
buy
numbers,
some parts
kind
of it,
generic.
but yeah, but it was a fine little like bottle episode thriller
Yeah.
in and of itself. So it was cool. But I remember them talking about it. I think it was like Jimmy Fallon that they created this studio or distribution company, Artist Equity. So it's like they're trying to adapt to the streaming model. Like if the numbers go up in streaming numbers, then like gaffers and makeup artists, all the people like will get paid more and stuff like that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's right in the name of their production company, right?
And
So
is that like sort of groundbreaking? I mean, this is
I
different.
think
from,
so.
from
Yeah,
like
and
different
they're
models.
evolving
Yeah, yeah.
with the model.
Because Matt
It's like-
Damon and Ben Affleck are producers of the film.
Sure,
And
yeah.
then
And it's
they
their
can-
production company.
Right, okay,
So
yeah.
they're both, they've been together since what is it?
Good
Good Will
Hunting,
Hunting,
yeah.
and then Project Greenlight and all this stuff. So they know they've been through it all.
They're veterans.
Yeah. So of course they're
executives,
gonna
yeah.
evolve with the system, and
Yeah.
that's how it should be. Of course you're gonna have people just like, oh, I want the old system back, and you can't do that. You gotta evolve. And that's what they're doing, and it's a good way of showing how we can move on. And this is how we get like we're unencumbered by the politics, and we just focus on the work. You know what I mean? So I
Like you
think
said,
ultimately that's going to be a great thing.
Evolve or die.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
And they're kind of at the forefront of this because of their veteran, experience in the industry.
Yeah,
But also
exactly.
knowing now. So what do you think? Do you think the movie itself is sort of a byproduct of this approach they have in terms of everything? The content itself, the writing, who they chose as a director, the fact that they're both in it,
Yeah.
the fact that they foregone the
Right.
theatrical window.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
mean, I
think?
don't know about all of that. I didn't read too deep into like how they chose this movie, but I know it was a Joe Carnahan vehicle, and then also, it felt to me a little underwritten. Like they could have developed it a little bit more, especially mild spoilers. But there's like a scene where like shit goes down in a neighborhood, and there's like no neighbors at all. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why? This seems weird, like I couldn't get my mind around
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, but like it just felt like they just shot this really quickly, and they wanted to see. It was almost like a vehicle to see if we can get this made. Like let's get it over. Let's see
Sure.
let's see what we can do. Kind of
Stay
thing.
within budget, stay within the
Yeah.
scheduling window,
Right.
something like that. Maybe.
It's almost like a
Yeah.
guinea pig kind of movie.
Okay,
But
yeah.
not that great. But it was still like entertaining.
It
Love
felt
me
like
some
a
Steven
very
Yeun.
Netflix movie, though. No?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
But it's up with a lot of heavy hitting names.
Yeah.
with them
Stephen
too.
Yeun and Tiana
Yeah,
Taylor.
Yeah.
Even though they were kind of related. Oh, Stephen Yeun actually got a pretty big role. So
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor was a little underutilized, but
So
that's
yeah,
all good.
I guess it's not gonna make your top 10 this year, probably.
The Rip. Oh, no, well, it's 2026 anyway. So.
This year.
Oh, this year, yeah.
2026,
Okay, thank you.
Exactly,
I keep
yeah.
thinking that we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about in 2025. So.
Yeah. Now we're 3 weeks into January.
Yeah, I
and,
know, we're a little late.
reflecting now on that allowed us to watch a couple
Yeah.
of extra movies,
But
yeah.
no, sorry. Yeah, but to continue with that thread, I think Matt Damon is on a roll this year. He's got the Odyssey, And he was supposed to do the Ben Affleck directed movie this year. I forget what it's called, but it's about like a politician who gets captured. Mild spoilers, but it's just a premise. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's just like a crime thriller, political thriller. Matt Damon's supposed to play that lead. Ben Affleck's going to play it instead. And my boy Steven Yeun's in that, so he got it in with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon now.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Good for him. Him and his beef fame is.
Yeah, because he wasn't involved in previously in anything, was he?
What do you mean?
Before The Rip, I hadn't seen him involved in any,
Right.
Obviously Affleck's the director, any other productions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know he was supposed to be in Thunderbolts because those are the beef writers. And then he was supposed to actually play Sentry, but he was conflicted with something. Maybe it was The Rip, maybe it was some other projects. But yeah, maybe it was smaller. He's involved in some other smaller stuff after Beef. So, but yeah, I'm really excited for that Ben Affleck movie. That guy is like a wonderkin director, right?
Yeah,
I love his director filmography. I know you and I quote The Town all the time. That
the Ben Affleck directed movie. Yeah. Did you watch them on Rogan, the interview, which I them
on Rogan? No, I didn't see it. Did you?
Yeah.
Please give us some
more
insights.
Than halfway. They talked they offered a lot of insight on the industry and making money. I don't want to give too much away, but it was about budgets and getting marketing movies and all that. I mean, just good insight on actually like behind the scenes. I mean, like you said, you mentioned about the way they're approaching Netflix now and how they're like you said adopting to a new model. So they talk a little bit more about that.
Good.
And both of them, like having them both there. I mean, it's cool to see. It's interesting to see a guy like Ben Affleck. Like. How much wiser he is now as just like grow older adult man who seems to have been through a lot of shit, but at the same time, like I mean, their friendship really anchors them as being still like humble, accessible guys. Like
all those gambling debts he's accrued, divorces.
Exactly. How many times have you divorced J-Lo now? I mean, the time he's gonna keep going back there.
But yeah, please continue.
Yeah. So there was just good insight on industry stuff, and they were pretty open and transparent about a lot of it, and just talking about just the challenges of making movies in general today. Like you said, the landscape that we're just talking about. So great insight. I mean, so I encourage you, your audience, to check out that interview. Obviously the long form. They get into just their taste in movies and stuff too.
Yeah.
What
that's great.
Yeah, what they like. Obviously, what I found fascinating is like. Matt Damon right now is just on the, precipice of just being the biggest movie star soon in like 6 months, right? Yeah. With the Odyssey, and I think everyone knows. They talked about the theatrical experience too. That they're like, they acknowledge that. Oh yeah, movies being a experiential experience that they're gonna all go see Odyssey, in a theater. But then Ben Affleck, acknowledges that. Yeah, there's other movies that he might want to watch at home. Like he acknowledges that it's gotta be, It's $20 for a Netflix subscription, $25 versus $100 to take your family out.
Yeah.
Who's gonna, just for one movie, and then you get Netflix for a month, and then he's, he mentioned how at home, hey, you can pause the movie, go to the bathroom. Just the normal stuff that people are gonna be thinking about. He's not so foregone on like what a real consumer thinks about and what they value, as far. But obviously, I think they acknowledge that cinema's not gonna go away because. I think people, like I said, an event movie.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back just recently on Avatar that came out last year, curious if that made any list of yours. Probably not. And then even like the Stranger Things, that just the final episode that I think played on Christmas Day, right? Or
New Year's Day. Yeah.
Right. Cinema still bringing people in and creating events. So I like that. It was enjoyable to hear them being just real off the cusp and. And being kind of transparent about what they're thinking about and what's real. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on the state of 2025 cinema in 2025 into 2026. Let's get right into our top 10 films of 2025, shall we? We're gonna do it from 10 to 1, and we're gonna switch off and talk about each other's picks after each one. So shall we start with you, Dad? Number 10 for you. Do you want to preface anything before the list? You want to mention
Yeah, right now I don't really have it's not in order, so I'm going off cusp and just kind of these are just a overall my favorite 10 movies of the year, not in any particular order. I was gonna go on when the release date, but I put this list together maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just gonna stick with that again. So not in any order, but pretty close to I think the time when it came out in that year. So
Okay.
like, you know,
Yeah.
the movies I'm gonna talk about now are ones that probably came out early in 2025.
It
So
totally messes up the entire structure of the show. So
that's what I'm here for. I'm evolving, you know. These movies are gonna, you know, probably switch around in my mind in the future anyway. So
You're a disruptor,
you know what I mean?
ultimate
Exactly.
disruptor.
Hey, Netflix is a disruptor. There's too many disruptors out there, but you know, I think this one you can handle. You know, don't have you know, no worries.
Okay, great.
Don't have
So
to hurry
in no
over it.
particular order, what's your number 10?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with Eddington. You know, I don't. That probably would have been in the middle of the list for me, but that's a movie where I actually feel like it could go from like 10 to 1 in time. I mean, you know, so as far as watching, a lot of these movies this year, I did try to see a second time to eliminate biases, eliminate, I don't know, fatigue, anything that might have, you know, marred
And recency bias. Because
100%,
like you're
sure,
like,
yeah.
I just saw that. It's great. It's my number one.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
sure. The hype, or just like maybe nuances of the plot that I didn't quite get,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
then I fit better on a second viewing. So obviously, I wasn't able to watch every movie I saw twice, you know what I mean? But like obviously there's just a visceral experience you get on first viewing. But so with Eddington, this is, you know, Ari Aster's, fourth or fifth movie, whatever. A challenging movie, you know, but like going into it, it's kind of expected. But then, you know, like there's gonna be layers to it, and you know, yeah, this movie. I mean, this movie is interesting because when I saw it the first time, it didn't hit me so much in terms of the humor. Like when I saw it then with two other friends, maybe weeks later at home. I mean, we were just all laughing. You
Right.
know? Like I was hysterical.
What was the context of your first viewing? Like alone?
Serious? Yeah, no, with my wife and
Okay.
theaters, and you know.
But was it, like sparse crowd or no?
Yeah, sparse crowd.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was opening, most of the movies I'm watching opening weekend, and I'm trying to go in blind. Most of the movies I haven't seen a trailer for it, you know, maybe outside of just the theatrical poster and, you know, a brief synopsis. But I know the director and I know what kind of ride he's going to take me on. But this movie, yeah, I was kind of baffled by the content he chose. But I mean, ultimately though, it is a challenging movie. I mean, you got Joaquin again, and you know, I knew kind of going from his last movie. I think his last movie was Beau Was Afraid. And that movie was an extremely challenging movie.
It's my number one film of that year.
And you know, like, and I'm saying that like challenging movies are kind of like the disruptors almost. You know, like they force you to go out of your comfort zone, force you to think about and reflect, and you know, go back, maybe rewatch again. It's like a puzzle or something like that, because I don't think you can get everything on the first viewing.
Sure, yeah.
And you know, so but the friends I saw it was their first viewing, and you know, the dark humor was like instant for them. You know, it's instantly accessible, and they got it right away. For me, it was more, you know, tonally, like what is he trying to do here? You know, where is he gonna go with this? And you know, why is he choosing this subject matter? You know, the movie exploring a small town, dealing with COVID and all the other, you know, the aftermath of that. But you know, I found it to be, I mean, a movie that like keeps rewarding you with every viewing. Layered, hilarious. I mean, Joaquin, again, I mean, the dude just keeps, you know, pushing himself and revealing another layer of talent. And same with the director. So, I mean, it's, you know, just another movie in his canon where, but ultimately it's a movie where it's maybe too original or maybe too ahead of its time, because
Too heady, maybe.
all those things, you know, like I don't know how you would even market that movie. Plus, like, I don't know who your audience is. Other
Right.
than,
Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, they did market it as like a Western thriller, like these two
Sure.
showdown
Okay,
like head
yeah.
honchos.
Right.
And in some ways it is like that, but
it's very much a Western, very much Western. And those are kind of themes that like were more clear to me on second viewing, you know, and seeing all the tropes of that and whatnot. But ultimately, yeah, I just want to end on that. It's a fabulous movie. I think it's a movie that will gain more appreciation, more fans, you know, over the years. And you know, honestly, a lot of these movies this year, the theme is really like, okay, if it wasn't appreciated or if it's really misunderstood this time, like I see these movies as being really, you know, like that people are gonna go back to and really then like, you know, I guess like extremely underrated movies that I think people just maybe at the time, the subject matter itself is kind of triggering or touchy for some people. So I think that's already kind of hindering their enjoyment of the movie.
Sure.
And then it's like, okay, maybe it just needs time to breathe. But, you know,
Yeah.
and cinema exists, you know, not in a vacuum. So, you know, and these are canons of work that will last for decades, will last forever.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the human race exists and we can, you know, still store it or archive it. So, yeah, I mean, you know, a great movie, but overall, a movie that, you know, is not gonna, probably wasn't going to end up high on my list. You know, because it has, like any movie, has some issues here and there. I don't want to get too much into it, but
Yeah, yeah,
overall, I would say, you know, I
Okay.
highly recommend
Yeah.
a movie that definitely is high on Ari Aster's canon of films.
Yeah. Actually, that's a solid choice, man. Excellent choice. That was number 10 for that, Eddington by Ari Aster, starring Pedro Pascal and the one and only Joaquin Phoenix. I want to preface before I start my number 10 that I didn't watch as many horror movies this year, and I feel like my threshold for the horror movies is definitely dying. Like, I just don't have, you know, I guess the wherewithal, the disposition anymore to put myself through that kind of thing. Like, I will never watch, as much as I love Ari Aster, I would never watch Hereditary again. Just like put me through that, you know, just watching that once, just terrifying, horrific, just put me through the ringer. So if you ask me to watch that, Dad, I'm just like, nope, sorry, no disrespect. But,
Yeah.
that being said, number 10 is Weapons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had to put one. This is the sole horror film on my list, just because I had to put it on, just because of the subject matter it was talking about and the unique structure that they put you through. You like the multiple narratives and multiple perspective structure that they put that through. Written and directed by Zach Cregger, I believe, and great performances by Josh Brolin. I can't remember the actress name.
Julia Garner.
Julia Garner, and
Or Julie Garner.
Julia Garner, yeah, and Alden Ehrenreich with his cool
Yeah.
Magnolia stash there,
And Amy Madigan.
and Amy Mann, is she in it?
Madigan.
Oh,
yeah,
Madigan.
Amy
Okay, they met Amy Mann from Magnolia,
Yeah.
but that would have been odd. Fantastic film, fantastic thriller, very taut, terrifying performance by that witch lady. Is that Amy Madigan? And I was just on pins and needles throughout the whole film. It was wholly original, unique. I wasn't aware of Barbarians, but I'd like to maybe see that one day when my threshold for horror films may have subsided, or my desire for it comes back. But yeah, I love I think we talked about this when it came out or shortly after, how the themes of it, it doesn't say it directly, but it's about like school shootings, right? And I thought that was such a fantastic way to handle that heavy, heady kind of topic, right? Just in a way that says, it's too late. Like, even if we corrected this issue that we put absolutely no, budget attention into, it's already too late. It's already put that generation through the ringer, and I didn't mean for this to be such a heavy conversation to talk about this movie, but I feel like it handles it really well, and it's a reason for me to put it on a top 10 list.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my number 10, Weapons. Let's get into your number 9, or
yeah,
number 9 with an
next on
asterisk.
the list. Yeah, exactly. The next movie I have is Warfare.
Yes.
Written and directed by Alex Garland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Well, it's not really a movie; it's an experience, right? It was an IMAX experience for me. Not many times in movies that are really like jolt. They might see like startled, but there's this scene in it where with the way they did the sound design and immerse you into the movie, like it really kind of really jolted off my seat, and they do that to a great effect throughout the movie. I mean, it's like I said, it's there's not much of a plot in the movie. I don't know if you saw the movie.
We screened it.
Oh yes, right. Yeah. Probably the most I think most people will see it as one of the most realistic accounts of being in, I guess active combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a harrowing movie. It's a movie what you're talking about, maybe one you don't want to experience over and over again, you in Hereditary. But for the just the actual filmmaking of it. I know I think they got Alex Garland got an ex-marine to help contribute to the movie to give it a level of authenticity. And I think the movie's not like Saving Private Ryan or something like that in terms of its academics or whatnot, but it was a harrowing experience. I think it was a movie that like kind of needs to be made because so many people complain about this is fake and this is fake, Hollywood's fake, and I'm like, I don't think anybody has any complaints about this movie. Like I think the actors really went through the grind and like it really puts you through that. Some as far as like an entertaining experience, probably not so much, but like as far as just like having it committed to celluloid and having that experience and them being able to put it out and have the text and all the sound mix is incredible. The way it was filmed is fantastic. And just for that reason alone, I think just for its existence and the way it's structured and the way it really pulls you in, like, really any other movie. The closest I can think is probably Black Hawk Down, where the action moves the plot, but this did something different. It was just like a very visceral experience, and like you want to go to theaters to have that, and that doesn't do it often, but this one did. So,
right.
If that ever comes back in theaters, recommend anybody try go do that. A lot of times, I think people do a lot of re-releases now. Studios do that. That's one definitely. But and for that reason, I think just for making a mark in 2025, that's on the list.
Fascinating. Yeah, I just remember that Joseph Quinn was in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of great names, a lot of up and coming, a lot of like Band of Brothers type of. We got to have a soldier in our filmography kind of people in there, like are kind of up and coming. Besides Joseph Quinn, he's kind of blown up right now. But I do remember that scene. They're like a sniper standoff. I love sniper standoffs. Any movie, from like Saving Private Ryan to
Enemy at the Gates.
Yes, the whole movie was that, right? But the one recently I saw was The Hurt Locker, where I think it was Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes, and then they're just like they just have to wait out.
Like a stalemate.
This
The way that's
compound or
depicted
whatever.
is,
And it was just like even after they may have shot everyone, they're still like waiting around. Like, okay, I think we're good now, right? They have to go get them. You have any Pacific, whatever what it was called, Capri Suns. Grab me a Capri Sun, and then like it's all like
just to put you in the mindset
real time.
Of like a soldier, right? Like
I love those. I love those scenes.
Mundane some things are versus the amount of stress and how intense things are. So I mean, it always sets itself up for a good cinematic moment. So
great choice. That was Warfare, his number 9. And we're gonna get our honorable mentions after, right? Yeah. So I wanted to put something in this spot, but I changed it to Superman for some reason. But I really like Superman. I did not expect me to put it on the list or even to like it that much. I was just like, I think everyone was kind of over DC, and it was like, a reboot, come on, But in the back of my mind, I was like, James Gunn could be the savior, but I don't know how he could have so many hats on. He's the president and he's gonna direct. Like, what is he doing? Like, how can he do that? And he proved me wrong because I should have seen the signs when I saw Peacemaker, the first season. So I was like, fantastic. I think you turned me on to that. You were like, you raved about it, and I had to watch it. And then season 2 is even better. And I saw this. Unfortunately I saw this on streaming because I think he upped the release to coincide with, because you needed to watch Superman to watch Peacemaker season 2. And I had so much fun with this. The Justice, not League, but the Justice something Society, was it? Something like that. But they're hilarious. Nathan Fillion as one of the Green Lanterns. I love this movie. It was just so much fun, and that's all I can really say about it. Breezily paced movie. One of the best Lois Lane portrayals as I've ever seen. It's just fantastic.
Rachel Brosnan.
The way they're just like tete-a-tete arguing about like a piece she was about to write or something like that. And I love this. It was good. It was great. One of my favorite Superman movies, which is I haven't seen the Christopher Reeve one in a while, so definitely better than Brandon Routh.
But for you, it was a nice change up from the the darker themes of like the Snyder one.
Sure. Man of Steel, I wasn't too hot on. I don't think Superman should be dark and emo, and he should be like Captain America. People need that kind of American icon right now,
Okay.
and especially during these dark times.
More optimistic,
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I feel like he is that, and he's also, kind of sardonic too.
Yeah,
Not too like,
Yeah.
oh, Captain America. He's, you know what I mean? He's not like gung ho,
Yeah.
but he's definitely a lot brighter and more, like you said, optimistic. So,
Yeah, optimistic,
step,
but
yeah.
not naive. Or
yeah,
not
not caricature-ish either.
Yeah. Not
So,
incompetent.
yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, nice change of pace. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to the next Superman. So,
Supergirl.
yeah, Supergirl looks good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was my number
Nice.
9,
Okay.
Superman.
Yeah. That's a good,
Is that surprising for you?
Sure. Yes and no.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
like that should make a lot of people's
Yeah.
top 10 because it was a well done movie,
Mhm.
and like I said, it's entertaining. Like you just want to go and have a good time.
Mhm.
James Gunn knows how to do that. He did 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies that were all like full of great humor and
Right,
like memorable
yeah.
scenes and all that. So
Mhm.
nice, man.
Number 8 for you, Dad.
Next on the list, here I have Aronofsky's Caught Stealing.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know what to expect from that. I
Should
think
be
most
on
of the time
honorable mentions.
when Aronofsky has a movie out, you think it's gonna be quite anticipated, and this one, I knew Austin Butler was in it. I didn't know much of a plot, but I want to watch it, similarly, like I just like the pacing of it. I liked how light it was. It really established Austin Butler as leading man. I mean, honestly, I thought he gave a great performance, one of the best performances of the year, to be honest. He's almost in every frame, takes you through like the whole gamut of emotions that he goes through. The movie itself is to me like 90s nostalgia too, man. Like there's a lot of that, and it kind of brought me back, and it was just so lived in, like as if the movie was made in the 90s in New York. And I know they probably went through great pains to establish that, and that added a lot to the movie. And so there's a good amount of play. There's a good amount of that 90s nostalgia. The characters were pretty solid. The supporting characters were great. The other actors in it. But for me, it was just like the director and the lead being kind of right there with each other. Knowing how to push each other, knowing how to really emphasize like his talents. Like really articulate it well. And it's nice to see Aronofsky do a movie that's lighter, that's not so heavy and dark and traumatic and all that, and like it was just like it's a breezy movie too, like it has some weighty aspects to it, but I didn't think it got marred down or anything like that, and but the filmmaking, the cinematography, I think it was Lubetzky, that
nice.
shot it, and so he got all his people there. And it's cool. It's a cool departure for Aronofsky to do something like this. I don't know if it's something that he's gonna want to continue to do. I would like it. You know what I mean? But maybe, at the end of the day, maybe he just liked the source. It's based on a book, and I think maybe liked the source material and thought, hey, this is a great vehicle to do something. Maybe outside of his wheelhouse, sort of. Because it doesn't have to be everything so dark. So same thing. I can understand why. At the end of the day, we go through movies and hopefully have like just a good time, and that movie kind of hit on a lot of levels for me. So great directing, fantastic leading man, 90s nostalgia, New York City, fun plot.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It had all the ingredients there.
Excellent. Nicely
said.
Nicely put well succinctly. What did he do before Caught Stealing? Aronofsky. I'm trying to remember.
The Whale, I believe. Maybe.
Oh right, yeah.
Heavy. It's
heavy in both ways.
Yeah, not like an idea of a fun time.
Right.
So it's great to see him maybe evolving as a filmmaker.
I hope it's not just a palate cleanser either. Hopefully, maybe he does something that combines like both elements of like fun and weighty. Because I do remember there's like a lot of killing in that movie, but it was treated almost like comically.
I mean, that was pretty violent.
Yeah, but if it was like in another movie, like it was in like The Whale,
sure,
Aronofsky, he would have been like really heavy-handed with all the deaths, but it felt like it's almost like
more like
zip through. It was almost like a punchline,
absurd, like Tarantino, how he does death sometimes, like a little bit absurdist or aspects of it. So
they do add some reverence to some deaths. Like I won't say anything, but to some main characters, but for the most part, it's a fun, breezy movie. Good choice, man. It's going to be my honorable mentions. My number 8 is great choice. That's Dad's number 8. My number 8 is Black Bag, from our favorite cinema auteur, Wunderkind. He's getting up there in age though. He's like 60, right?
I think
Soderbergh.
he's like a vampire, man. He'll
Yeah.
live forever.
He's gonna live a long time. Yeah, he's pretty sure has a great, health regimen. Written by David Koepp, and he's on a roll too. He did like Jurassic World Rebirth this year, and he did I think Presents, and he's doing the Spielberg movie this year. So Disclosure Day, I believe. So good to see David Koepp up and working. Probably has a lot of mouths to feed these days. Maybe he's like, I need some money, man.
10 kids or something, maybe.
Eddie Murphy numbers of kids. But yeah, great cast. Kate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender. Always love me some Fassbender. He's on this like spy kick with his show. I forgot what it was called. He was like
Agent.
Agent, yeah. It's like a Showtime, The Agent. Yeah, that was a great show too, man. A little bit more heavy-handed. Black Bag's a bit lighter.
Yeah.
And more of like a really taut suspense.
I think clock's in
thriller.
at like 90 minutes or something.
Really?
I
Okay,
think so,
yeah. That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, it's just, no room for meandering. But still, like, all the characters are great, all the situations are great.
Yeah.
And I keep saying taut, but tight suspense thriller. You don't get those a lot, so very economical movie, so in terms of just suspense and entertainment and character and star power and Soderbergh back in the game, so I know he did, what do you think he did, like some show before that, so nice to see him back in form. So that's my number 8, Black Bag by Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, nice choice. Yeah, I mean, you said he makes it look easy. You know, that's the thing. Like, it's brisk and taut, and it's because it's discipline and editing and all the choices, that make it move really quick with, like I said, almost no wasted scene. And yeah, I enjoyed that one a lot too. So I'm glad. Yeah,
We screened it, and you screened it for me. Thanks to you. Thank you. What's your number 8?
So I don't know if I'm gonna, regret this one or not. Maybe maybe I'm validated. But I put
Just go for it.
28 Years Later by Danny Boyle.
Haven't seen it.
I had just seen Bone Temple. 20 Years Later, Bone Temple, which is pretty much a immediate continuation of the movie, directed by Anita Costa. But man, I'm just a big fan of the zombie horror genre, and Danny Boyle, and just the anticipation of seeing like another. Literally a sequel, right? To 28 Days Later. I know there's a 20 Weeks Later by, I think, a Spanish director.
Okay.
Which was good too, but like, there's been talk about doing another movie, and then I'm like, okay, it just, it never materialized.
So, quick question.
Sure.
28 Years Later, is that a direct continuation from 28 Days Later, or?
Yes.
So
correct. I think they pretty much ignore the
middle movies inconsequential.
I think they're pretty much exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
So 20 years later, literally 20 years later from the initial outbreak of the first movie.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And same world and everything like that. So it's it's not a perfect movie, but you get these. Danny Boyle is just one of the most, like, I don't know, genius directors to me. Just like visually and music and like, the guy who brought you Slumdog Millionaire. And movies.
Steve Jobs is one of my favorite.
I mean, yeah, he's a prolific, amazing director, and just to, for having revisit this, him and working with Alex Garland again as a writer. Obviously, maybe Garland might be. I don't know if you have another movie with him involved in the list, but a visceral movie, in a sense, like it's weird. It's a little bit all over the place tonally, but it's anchored by a solid performance by a young actor. I don't want to give anything away here, but great. I think it was Jodie Comer and Aaron Taylor Johnson were in it as well, and brings it back to the world. Has really solid, scares. I don't think anybody does better than Danny Boyle when it comes to like that visceral feel, like intensity on the screen, and then when it's involved zombies, or in this case, he created when 20 Days Later came out, he created a new genre of zombies, not the slow undead, but that's carcasses falling apart, but like a scary, intense zombie that like turned within seconds, and then we were running after you like at full speed. It was like a rage virus, and how they did it. That set the precedent for a lot of movies afterwards. World War Z, Train to Busan, a whole bunch of like kind of copycats, I would say, from that. So it was amazing to get back into that world again. I think the movie had a very polarizing ending that I actually enjoyed. But now it makes sense because we got Bone Temple not only not only like less than a year later, which is another treat for just fans of movies. We don't have to wait 3 years to see what happens, and I'm like, wow, what a treat to be able to watch it, in that little amount of time, and have the studios give that kind of confidence and support. So I see it as a treat seeing these movies, back to back within a year. So that movie itself, like, again, it's almost like I'm just like grateful it exists, But not just that though, but because it's also a great movie, as far as like the execution of, and I don't know, it's a movie that it could be, misaligned in the future, or maligned in the future, or maybe deeply appreciated because supposedly it's possibly first of 3 movies, with the third movie. Right now, as of today, hanging in the balance because Bone Temple did not have a great box office draw. I think it made half the amount of money as 20 years later last year. So who knows? Hopefully, I can go back to that and tell everyone, hey, we're able to watch the third one and complete this trilogy. So just as a fan of the original, to be spoiled by possibly 3 movies, when most movie fans are just like hoping that it could be one
every 3 or 4 years.
And these are all, so far these are solid. And Bone Temple, I would say, Bone Temple could make my top 10 this year.
For 2026, nice.
So leave it at that.
Fantastic. Yeah, that was your number 8, Bone Temple. And hey, to quote Jesse Plemons in Begonia, don't ever apologize. Don't ever regret your choice, because that's how you feel in the moment. Don't ever apologize.
It was number 7 though.
Oh, sorry, there's your number 7. Yeah. Oh, you're going first. I forget. Okay, so that was your number 7. 28 years later. I gotta say, I remember when you screened 28 Days Later for me. I saw it for the first time. One of the most intense jump scares I've ever experienced was that when the zombies come through the roof, from the sky roof or whatever. That scared the shit out of me, man. So thanks for that. Now my number 7 is Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice, which I don't think it's a recency bias. Otherwise, it would have been higher. Probably should have been higher, but my top 6 is pretty tight for me. So No Other Choice just squeezed in. Just had no room for you in the top 5. Just sneak into the top 10, like Rob says in High Fidelity. I love this movie. Got very. What's the main character's name? The actor's name?
Byun-hyung.
Yeah. The Squid Game dude, right?
The master of ceremonies guy.
Yeah.
Byun-hyung Lee, I think.
Byun-hyung Lee, thank you. The Korean Mads Mikkelsen, I like to say. You compare their faces, and he's like in a kind of like a Hannibal suit in this one too. So, it's a very metaphorical movie for capitalism these days, right? Like, you got to kill your competition, literally. Spoilers, sorry for No Other Choice. But it's very subdued, very subtle in the way they portray this cutthroat, so to speak, world. I love the symbolism of it all. Very ironic, right? How the ending is just very. Again, it's hard to talk about without giving it away, but very darkly ironic, ending. And he gets what he wants ultimately, but to what cost, right?
Not unlike
the cost of his soul.
Eddington, even.
Yeah,
like
sure. Yeah. Also very Parasite kind of vibes of like a class.
Yeah.
I know there's like upper middle class here, but I guess South Koreans just love that theme, that kind of.
I think it's part of the culture.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. And great performances by all. I didn't know what to expect. I came in cold. I was like, No Other Choice. Okay, I think I just saw the poster of him holding like the flower pot up.
Yeah.
I'm like, but as I was being Hung Lee, I'm like, I love Squid Game. Kind of on the fence about season 3 of Squid Game. It's a little disappointing for me, but that's another podcast there. But Park Chan-wook's one of my favorite directors. Yeah. He's riding high. He did the pilot of The Sympathizer last year, which is one of my favorite shows of the year, being Vietnamese American here, and love to see what he does next. You know, I'm really huge fan of this movie, and that is my number 7. Sorry, number 7. No Other Choice.
Yeah. Hey, that's a great insight on that. I just want to add that, like Aronofsky, I appreciate that Park Chan-wook, the director of Old Boy, has also kind of gone for, a more lighter, entertaining movie. That's when you were talking about it. I thought, yeah, this guy came from, I'll say Old Boy is still one of like the darkest movies I've seen,
Right.
For how heavy and how intense it is. But to see, some of these, maybe with age and whatnot, they're seeking movies that are a little lighter, a little more entertaining. Not to say that No Other Choice is some kind of like lighthearted comedy.
No, but
like
I know
that.
what you mean. In
Yeah.
comparison
Sure,
to the
yeah.
others.
It takes definitely
Yeah.
a lighter tone, and at times it's absurdist humor and whatnot.
Yeah.
And overall, like I like where it hit. As far.
Yeah, what's that kind of humor? It's like it's like a dark Mr. Rogers, like Mr. like Walter White. Some guy that's been like in like a suburban prison, like of mediocrity, kind of thing. What's that kind of humor called? I'm trying to pinpoint that. Maybe we can think of it
But
later.
it's lighter, like the way, like maybe not so much Breaking Bad, but more like Truman Show. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't get that heavy in terms of how dark it is.
I know what
in
you
the
mean.
situation,
Yeah. Maybe darkly ironic, kind of. I think that's what I'm thinking.
Ironic humor, something
sardonic.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I can't think of the exact term, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. What is your number 6, Mr. Dat?
So this earlier on your list here. So again, this will probably be right in the middle where it is right now too. Weapons as well.
I figured that'd be high on your list.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bigger fan of horror overall. I think these two movies really stood out to me as probably the best of horror 2025. Horror had a great year. Another great horror movie, honorable mention would be Bring Her Back, which is a terrific movie. But with again, like what you mentioned earlier, I like just the humor that's just persistent throughout the movie. The amount of surprises, the characters that it focuses on. It kind of focuses on characters that normally wouldn't get that kind of screen time in this movie, and I like that. And the multiple how it all come together and whatnot, and but and it still delivers on the scares, the originality. Like it brought a lot of what he did well in his previous movie, Barbarian, and like I like his stock, his like tone and his delivery of stuff like that. Like again, it's not a movie that's like too terrifying either. Like it's still a crowd pleaser. Like a horror movie that's a crowd pleaser. 20 years later, maybe not as much as a crowd pleaser, but Gregor knows how to really, and I think it's one of the endings. I think nowadays another trend maybe that I will talk about a lot of these movies later is sticking the landing. It's becoming harder and harder, I think, with a lot of movies, and it could be a fantastic movie, but a lot, like 20 years later, I was saying how like it had a polarizing ending, and that could just upend the whole movie.
Yep.
People go out and just are baffled or dissatisfied, and like literally, the 119 minutes before that, they enjoy it, but the last minute is now like it upends the whole movie, and so it has one of the best endings, I think. And it's another movie where like, man, the crowd really got into it. That's what's great. That's something else I'll probably talk about in when I get down my list, is that, and that really adds to the experience, because he's developing it, as a theatrical movie, and then fans get into it, and the other people, if you're sitting in a dark room with strangers, and how much they can bring to it, and the level of, obviously, like horror and comedy have always done well, but again, I would, just to kind of in addition to what you've already said, I agree with, is having this fantastic ending that I think like is kind of burned into cinema history.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but okay, I think I'm remembering. Yeah, what happens? Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's surprising and shocking. It's very satisfying.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. So, and then it got the whole crowd and whole audience like really into it. And then as far as sticking the landing, I think maybe that this movie, out of all the movies this year, did it best.
Yeah. To quote Robert McGee, the Brian Cox character in adaptation, when Charlie Kaufman is asking him for advice for his screenplay. He says, "Wow them in the end, you've got a hit." So you have the piece of shit movie ever. If you have a great ending, they're gonna remember it.
Yeah.
So exactly what you're saying, like.
Sticking the landing.
And it can also work the other way. You can have a great 2 acts and your shit ending, and people are gonna remember the ending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, good point. Any chance for me to squeeze in adaptation quotes? So
it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. My number 6 is Eddington. I can't say anything else that you already said. Well, I could, but I should be redundant. But yeah, I had a great time with this. Ironically, I could feel you saying that the tone is all over the place, but I was expecting that kind of. I was expecting almost like a polarizing movie and me to like the polarization of the movie.
Did it surprise you?
Yeah, definitely. Here's another. We're talking about endings. The ending is crazy. It's just like I didn't know it was gonna go that direction, and then he just like goes off on this crazy adventure and does all this wild antics. And again, I won't reveal what happens, but I do feel like the ending is very metaphorical, symbolical of our culture, of how we feel about AI and industry and stuff like that. So, but interestingly enough, I don't want to get into any other deep themes and issues it brings up, but I do feel like great performances all around, from Joaquin, and didn't really use what's her name really well.
Emma Stone.
Yeah, Emma Stone. Even Austin Butler has a really weird short cameo. Yeah.
Sure.
So, but it's really him and the Pedro show.
Yeah.
And I love that like tete-a-tete kind of like almost like Rushmore, like hey, I'm going to prank each other, like and then it just goes crazy, right? Yeah. And then but I do feel like one of my favorite things about this that I didn't see happening, I didn't see this coming, was I felt nostalgic for the pandemic.
Yeah.
Ironically, I was just like I kind of had a good time, like aside from like the day-to-day anxiety of what's going to happen, we're all going to die maybe. But
end of the world. Yeah.
Other than that, I love being at home. I'm a homebody. I love like how everyone was doing that, and in a way, I was just like longing for the days of the pandemic. Yeah. So it's kind of strange how it made me feel that way. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Ari Aster is one of my favorite directors. Boys Afraid was my top film from 2023. For a while, Eddington was my number one until I later got into later the year, of course, with all the great critically acclaimed movies.
So is that 6, right?
It's number 6, Eddington by Ari Aster.
Okay. So got knocked out.
Looking forward to his next film. Like you said, Pedro Pascal's on top of the world right now. What is he like? Reed Richards, the man. He's Mando. He's like he's everywhere, man.
Sure, yeah. He's Joel, Last of Us, TV
as
well. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man. Hey man, feast. For actors, sometimes it's feast or famine.
Yeah.
And I think he's feasting. So, and it's not like his work is compromised. He's delivering all the movies. So, I hope I see more of him.
I'm rewatching Narcos right now, and I just finished the Colombian Narcos, the original 3-season Narcos, and he's great in that. But Narcos Mexico. This is an off tangent, but Narcos Mexico, fantastic.
Oh, really?
Man.
Okay.
I love me some Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Man. Okay. That was a tangent. Sorry. Number 5 for you.
Number 5 for me. Again, this is not in order.
Yeah.
Number 5, I have this right in the middle, right there. It's probably higher, one button after another.
Yeah.
Right. So overall, this is like a runaway train of a movie, I think. Like the budget, the star power, Paul Thomas Anderson. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of Paul Thomas Anderson. He's not like, I don't like every movie he does. He goes in all different directions. But I think what really anchored his movie is the humor. Like again, I think he really leaned more into that than any other movie I've really seen. And there's a kind of like a controlled chaos in the movie that I really enjoyed, and it made the movie go really fast. I mean, it's anchored by definitely some of the best performers of the year. Even it's like a performance you wouldn't expect. Benicio del Toro, who doesn't have a lot of screen time in it, but man, really just cements himself as like literally one of the most memorable characters in this year, maybe multiple years. So
Mm.
that kind of writing, casting, having that come along, but everything in the movie really gelled, right? The score, the tempo, the editing, how the scenes were going from first half to second half. It is a little bit, it's kind of splintered in terms of tone. Maybe the first half or the first acts a little slower or whatnot. But once the movie really gets going, though, like you're invested, you're immersed, and the characters are delivering things that Sean Penn's character delivering things that maybe I haven't even seen before. In terms of like how absurd it was or how dark it was as well. And it's like that's some crazy writing behind it, but also commitment, like really and a lot of commitment from these actors. I mean, you got Leo anchoring the whole thing, but to me, it's just Paul Thomas Anderson show. Like,
Yeah.
he's bringing everything. I think it's a culmination of like Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, like all the talents he has. Some of these directors we're talking about, they're going into these older years here and maybe leaning into more comedy. Although he's not like it's not like he hasn't done comedy, but ultimately it just culminated in a very memorable movie with like great characters and super memorable performances. Many that I think should be Oscar worthy, even if none of them win or whatnot. But it's a movie that I can see a lot of people going back to. Like for posterity. I mean, the laughs are there. It's poignant. It's funny. It's interesting. It's good action. There's good intensity. One of the best like car chase scenes ever committed to cinema. That to me, I think, I've talked about that in some of my other movies. The fact that exists. Like that car chase scene, the execution of it, and its commitment to cinema is like that's gonna stand out.
Right.
That kind of like gives it, makes it deserve a spot, like in just being a movie of 2025, outside of just all of the other things. But Beniccio's performance, Leo doing what Leo's doing, which I mean, there's another layer there that's pretty hilarious too. He's leaning more into the comedy, and I like that. And there's crowd pleasing moments, and it's a challenging movie overall. It's not challenging as Eddington or something like that. But tonally, it kind of goes in different direction. It will challenge you as a viewer. I don't know. It's designed for the appetite of a mainstream viewer, but it's at least pushing the envelope for one of them to be like, hey, open up your mind and enjoy and have a good time in the cinemas.
Endlessly quotable. You and I always say thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Today you're like few small beers. One question for you. What time is it now? What time is it?
Time is a construct.
Time doesn't exist, but it controls us anyway. You pretentious son of a... And he's like crying at one point. Okay, I'm going to talk about more when it gets to mine. But excellent, solid choice on a lot of people's list, and I'm sure it could, alternate through the year to many years for you. And that is your number 4 with an asterisk there. They're all going to be with an asterisk probably. One battle after another for that. This is number 4. My number 4 is Bugonia. For a long time, it was my number 1. I put it there when I first saw it. It blew my fucking mind. I was just like... I never revisited it. I should have, because I don't know if it'll give me that same suspense of like, oh, what's going to happen? It could go either way. But at the same time, like, again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like knowing who the director is, I'm like, it could probably go the weird way. It probably is the weird way that it's going to go. But at the same time, you're just like, the performances were just like kept you on pins and needles. You're like, what the fuck? Like, what? That, you know what I mean? I was just like, I haven't had that experience in a long time, and I was just so excited. Solid fucking performances by Emma Stone and our boy there. Sorry, forget his name, Jesse Plemons. And even his like cousin, poor guy. Like, but man, this movie is beautiful. It was just like beautifully shot. It just felt so like almost like Kubrick-esque, like just like the block filmmaking. It just felt so pristine. Like the juxtaposition between like her house and their house was just so blatant. I love the vibe of this movie, and Yorgos, Emma Stone are on a roll. I hope they keep making movies till they're 90, or whoever passes away first. Sorry, I don't mean to just make somebody, uh, determine, somebody's passing. But anyway, Begonia, fantastic. Like, what would you call that? Like, it's not. It's kind of, it's absurdist, like an absurdist thriller. I would say, One Battle After Another is almost absurdist too, has absurdist level comedy, which I didn't get at first, but I'll get to that when I get there. But Begonia, fantastic movie. My number 4 again. I'm going to say the same thing about I said with the 19 top 4. These are almost interchangeable. Maybe top 3.
Yeah.
But 4, yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think
I'm on 5. I'm on 5.
Five? Yeah,
I skipped
okay.
one.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there the next one.
Okay.
I'm going to... So I don't want to talk about 2 in a row. So let me get to your 4 first. I skipped my number 5, but I want to talk about that next.
Okay.
So, sorry guys. Begonia is my number 4. My number 5 is something else.
Oh,
but we're going to get to Dad's number 4 now.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that. I just saw Begonia. I'm like, I want to talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
You got me so excited.
So, well, I'm glad it's not directly on my next on the list, but Begonia is there. But the next on my list I have after One About Another is actually Ballad of a Small Player.
Okay. Wow, never heard of it.
Ballad of a Small Player is, what's his name? The director of, he just did Conclave, Edward Berger. He did Conclave, and he did All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, okay.
A few years ago. This is a pretty small movie. This is a movie that literally is all a vehicle for Colin Farrell, a small-time gambler, and and I forgot, is it Monaco or one of the kind of exotic city, mainly for gambling and whatnot. And this is a pretty deep immersion in a character study, right? Like definitely you've maybe seen before, like movies like that get really into the psyche of the character, something like The Wrestler or something
player.
like that, or like
card counter,
The Whale, like you're just living this person's mindset, like and it's and I mean Colin Farrell, I mean that guy, well, he had a great turn recently doing Penguin, right?
Yeah.
And this movie, I felt like this dude's like he's at another level in terms of the immersion of his acting. The movie itself, the plot doesn't have, I won't say maybe it has like the best structure to it, but I think the delivery, his performance, I think Edward Berger's style, I think he coming off of Conclave, which I thought was like a fabulously directed movie. His choice of of shots, the level of suspense, like how great he can kind of mirror or like match the score and the ratcheting suspense that the movie goes through, like and this movie, the closest I can think of, because this movie is more like, if I had to do a close comparison, something like Fight Club, where like, like the character is kind of spiraling, right? And then there's some aspects of like, is he dreaming? Is he, is this a fantasy or whatnot? So immerses the viewers in a state where like, there's the depravity of like him just spiraling in terms of his, the gambling and all that, and so emotionally, like, man, Colin Farrell adds like another level of something that I never seen before, and then the movie is just gorgeously shot, in Macau. Macau is actually where it's shot, and it has a certain color and a certain rhythm and a certain texture to it that's like it takes you away from a normal place and brings you into this world with this character and feels like a real place. Maybe something, it's almost like a slicker version of like Uncut Gems or something like that. You know what I mean? A deep character study, a troubled character. Maybe not one you like, but I mean, Colin Farrell is a super charismatic guy. So like, you root for him, but what he goes through and what he does, the decision he makes is obviously not like not some of the best though. So. Yeah, overall, and it's probably not high on my list, but I think just Edward Berger and him rolling, and seeing Colin Farrell like almost like at a I wouldn't say at a peak, but definitely highs in his career right now. I'm a big fan of him, so between those two guys doing something like this, it was Netflix only release.
Oh, okay.
I would have been super glad to see it in theaters, but it's a tough sell of a movie, but it's definitely like Netflix prestige movie where
Mhm.
like, you know, they know getting a guy like Edward Berger and a guy like Colin Farrell, but I'd put Colin Farrell's performance up there with top, you know, 3 or 4 actors
Nice.
this year. Yeah.
Did he
so,
get nominated?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, probably
Okay.
not. I mean, you know, there's a whole Netflix thing that's
Okay.
a little bit, I think, you know,
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
think a lot of people saw it, you know, so
Yeah.
yeah, but Battle of a Small Player, you
Ballad of
know,
a Small
I'd
Player.
say, yeah, it breaks in the top 10, maybe barely, but overall, like, you know,
What's in your top? This is your 4, right?
well, you know, like within, I'm just going
Okay.
with the kind
Yeah,
of like the chronology of
Yeah,
the
sure. Okay.
of the time I saw it
Okay.
last year.
So that was your number 4, Ballad of a Small Player. Sounds like so he's like a poker player or poker? No.
Yeah,
Or is he
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
blackjack? Is he
Poker
a card
player.
counter?
No, not poker player.
He's not like
yeah.
Paul Schrader.
He's just a gambler. Yeah, no,
Or like
no,
Oscar Isaac.
No. yeah.
I'm really fascinated because I got into Texas Hold'em about almost 2 years ago, but I'm really fascinated by the psychology of like card players and
Yeah.
um,
And this
people
adds
who
another
tilt
level.
and stuff like that.
This
It's-
adds
it's
another level to
fantastic.
that level of addiction or dopamine hit to get of even just gambling. You know.
Have you ever seen Molly's Game?
Yeah, with just Chastain.
Yeah. Do you remember? I forget the character actor's name, but there's this guy he was like a shark.
Yeah.
He was like a savant. And then he starts tilting and he just like goes crazy. You remember that scene? You probably don't, but
No.
okay,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. I love that scene. I love when I see people tilt. I don't know why. Anyway, going back to my number 5 because I already said my number 4 for some reason. It's like, 'cause I'm a fucking idiot. My number 5 is Nouvelle Vague.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm a huge
That's
fan
Linklater, correct?
of Linklater.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I didn't see that
With a
one.
bunch of no names, which is for the better. I think maybe Zoe Deutsch. Thank you. Zoe Deutsch plays Jean Seberg, and she's fantastic in it. And you know me. I love films about movie making, about filmmaking. I love like this inside baseball type of knowledge of what are filmmakers like, what are their careers, what are they like in their real lives and their personal lives. And this film I thought was going to be, I heard it was like a really breezy hangout film, which it is. I believe it's like maybe hour and a half, maybe hour 50, something like that. But I didn't expect for it to be so like detail oriented, you know, like everything. They get everything right from, you know, the costumes, obviously the set design, and what you said earlier about, you know, caught stealing, about how they can make this modern film look like a 90s movie. They make this film look like a 50s movie. I thought this film was shot in the 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how do they do that? They have to, you know, not only get the costuming and the look, the actors, right? The casting is incredible, but like they have to go back and look at the films and like the cameras, like zooms and stuff, like vintage lenses.
There's
like,
a texture to
yes,
it, you know what I mean?
it's just
it's difficult to nail,
right.
but once you get everything in line with the production.
Yeah, absolutely. Every element has to be on point, you know, and that feat alone is in and of itself super impressive. But the fact that I love this era of, you know, Dat and I met in a world cinema class in college, and our Professor Monty, loved Jean-Luc Godard, and like just praised him, like sucked his dick. Like, sorry to get so
graphic.
Yeah, but she probably would have. She probably did at some point. But a great portrayal of, you know, the production of one of the most groundbreaking films of all time. There would be no independent cinema without Nouvelle Vague, right? But, you know, auteur expressionism, how, you know, the director is the author kind of thing. And great portrayal of it. The actors did such a fine job. I talked about this more in depth when I talk by myself in my Nouvelle Vague podcast, but one of the great things about it is how they give you this like alt perspective of what went on behind the scenes. Like, for instance, you haven't seen this, it's not really a spoiler, but you know how like the movie was shot without sound, right? They had to dub everything after, so they pretty much are just like talking, and they have to just like pantomime. They don't have to, they're actually talking, but they really have to be like more like, you know, so they can match it later. But there, you know, the famous shot of the Champs-Elysees where Jean Seberg and Belmondo are walking, the tracking shot from behind, and she's like, New York Herald Tribune. You remember that? So that tracking shot is from behind, right? Famously. And so you don't really see them talking, you're just kind of mouthing to each other so they can actually dub it in later. What you see in the film is what she actually says, or maybe they just kind of made it up for humor. But she was just like, because John Seberger's famously like not on board with him as a filmmaker. He was like, this guy doesn't stay on schedule. He's like an amateur. He's like a student filmmaker. I don't believe in this guy. She was about to quit after day one, right? So, during that, I think that was her first take of the scene of the production. They're talking, and she's like, New York Herald Tribune. What is this guy doing? This guy doesn't know. You know what I mean? So it like adds this layer of like, extra
internal turmoil, internal conflict. Yeah.
I have some issues with it. I do wish that there was probably more conflict, because I extensively researched the production of that film prior to seeing Nouvelle Vague, and I do remember the producer George Beauregard, who he gave like $90,000 to Godard, saying like, you're the last member of the Cahiers du Cinema that is making a film, but you're bankable because Claude Chabrol, Truffaut made all these films. You're the last one, but let's get on board. He just gave him like a $90,000 check to make a movie. But he was famously like, "What do you like? You're having like a 1 hour day, and then you just go off and do whatever you want. You go drink for the rest of the day. Like, what are you doing?" He's like, he has a specific way of working, right? Of like, oh, I need inspiration to strike. I'm gonna go write or something. So he was just like famously like on his ass all the time. And they actually got into it was reported that they got into a fist fight or like a pushing altercation. I believe it was shown briefly in the film, but I wish they would have portrayed that a little bit more heavily. But I think they were just going for this like breezy, lighthearted hangout things. They didn't want to press onto that too much. But for the most part, it is pretty extensive film, and it's kind of a blast. It's like a cool way to hang out with this era, these characters, and
like
if you like
just being transported back to that time.
Absolutely, it's really great. I really like that. I wish I would have saw his other movie, Blue Moon. But have you seen that?
I did.
Okay. Did you like it?
I did.
Okay, nice.
Not a lot.
Okay.
I had some issues with it. But
I heard he was kind of like shrunk for like Hobbit size, and that kind of turned me off. I was like, I don't want to.
It's camera angles and stuff.
Really?
Like that.
Okay.
Shrunk. Yeah, it wasn't like, it didn't bother me. It wasn't distracting. Like that.
It's not like Hobbit level.
No,
he's not like a Hobbit.
He's not like, my brother said he was like on his knees or something. He's not on his knees.
Okay.
It's just it's like how they make Robert Downey Jr. look as tall as Chris Pratt or something. In Avengers, just camera tricks to kind of make him look a little shorter. But
Tom Cruise put on some lifts.
Exactly.
But that was my number 5. Going back to that as Nouvelle Vague. So I highly recommend that. I talked to Death about that.
Was that ever higher on your list?
It was. Probably recency bias. It was like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But so again, that was 5.
That was 5. 1 4 is Begonia.
And Begonia was 1 at one point too.
So, Begonia was 1.
Yeah.
So we're getting to your number 3.
Yeah. So I guess I'll put these 3 are not in order, but I will say these are the top 3.
Okay.
Movies, that I enjoyed this year.
So your number 4 was A Ballad of a Small Player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, those are all kind of like just out of sequence, But for the top 3 here, I'll actually be like, okay, these are my top 3 movies.
Okay.
Sentimental Value by what's his name, Joachim Trier.
Right.
I didn't know what to really expect from this movie. I know it had a lot of buzz. Renate, I forgot her last name, Rensvez. She was in that movie, Worst Person in the World. I didn't think she was that great in it. I didn't think that movie was that great. But I'm a big fan of Elle Fanning. I'm a big fan of Stellan Skarsgård, and I liked it. And like Nouvelle Vague, it's kind of about making a movie.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So
that was like a play or something.
No, it's about a director who's going to make a movie.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of kind of like that, behind the
right
scenes stuff
alley,
of what's going to happen.
Should have watched it.
And I really like, Stellan Skarsgård was amazing recently doing Andor, and so I think I had that bias of just wanting to see him in a more conventional role, I guess, but among other like solid actors. And the movie just had scenes that like was very moving to me, like the way the writing is fantastic. I really like the elements of this plot and how, because basically it is about a father and his estranged daughter, and then how he's kind of trying to cast her for a movie that's a little bit autobiographical. So there's just some intrigue there, with just like, okay, how's that gonna play out,
So he's related to Elle Fanning?
No, not Elle Fanning, to Renate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You know, he's Swedish, I believe, and the characters are as well. Elle Fanning is actually playing like an American, like a famous American actress,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like a Scarlett Johansson or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, but you know, it's sharp writing, excellent performances all around. You know, lived in, raw, authentic. You know, like real natural. The director really let these characters breathe in a way that I thought were like really solid. You know, that each
Uh-huh.
person felt lived in, felt real. But ultimately, it's just high on my list because, yeah, because I found scenes moving. I found
Mhm.
certain interactions really like, and yeah, and a pretty good amount of humor. I want to give to some one scene you'll really like it. It was just like, well, it's Stellan Skarsgård. He's a director, right? He's like a famous director, right? And he's like at his grandson's like birthday party, and he starts like giving him these gifts. He's like, he should watch these movies right here. I'll just say that one of them is irreversible. He's busting out like DVDs. He's just like, you gotta watch this one. This is gonna change your life. You know, kid's like, 10 years old or something like that. And I'm like, that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
Very educational.
Exactly. He's just thinking from like his mindset of like, hey, maybe he saw when he was 12. He was like, this made me a man, or something like that, or this made me understand.
These
the
make you
human
love
condition.
Monica Bellucci.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's just that. Yeah, like, oh, you'll be different if you just see this movie, see Monica Bellucci in her prime. Or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I think he literally has lines like that. Where I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
That's pretty awesome. That's like the humor is just baked in really well. So yeah, naturally again, great directing, probably fantastic performances overall. Stellan Skarsgård, endlessly watchable, maybe at his peak. And then seeing people like Elle Fanning and Renate do their thing, and ultimately this whole family dynamic and the turmoil of that, and it being surrounding art. And there's something in this movie, the theme that's also gonna be, I'm gonna talk about later, is art being like a way of healing, characters. And in this case, it's art is the filmmaking. So
Yeah.
I thought that's like, to me, that was like really really satisfying to see, and also like really captivating to see art using art, depicting art in theatrical as a way to as a way for these characters to heal. In this case,
almost like therapy, right?
Yeah, in this case, say
Art is therapy.
estranged daughters and a father. So and sticking the landing, man. All these movies gotta stick the landing, and this one definitely did.
Okay. Yeah. Great choice, man. I still haven't seen it. I gotta see it. It's been getting all these praise from critics and all these noms, so definitely on my radar from now. Today, gotta watch it. So that was your number 3, Sentimental Value. Great choice. My number 3 is another, again, going with these like meta films about making films.
Okay.
This is like the one that takes the cake for me, though, for a lot of reasons. Jay Kelly.
Okay. Yeah. Baumbach. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Marriage Story our last time for 2019. White Noise is a bit of a hit or miss for me. At the time, I really liked that. That was kind of really refreshing that he would do like this big budget. He had like a great chase sequence, and like he was commentating on like the pandemic. I'm talking about White Noise, but it really meanders towards the end and kind of goes nowhere. And but it was interesting because it was his first adaptation of a novel, and it was a great stepping stone into Jay Kelly, where he's taking chances with bigger productions. He's like building sets. It's not really noticeable in Jay Kelly, but I was watching a lot of the making of Jay Kelly, and I read all these articles on how he made. I think he did the volume for like one of Jay's mansions.
I wouldn't
So
even
he
notice,
built a set in England for that.
I got
Couldn't find the right one. I think he used the exterior of Jack Nicholson's mansion or something like that. And so this movie's very like meta for George Clooney, right? It's like the twilight of his career almost. He's getting a retro. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm talking about for the audience. Like he has this retrospective. And it's like kind of rethinking his life. He's going in and out of memories. I love the way they do that. Like it's like on the set, right? Like the private jet turns into like the artist, whatever the theater that he's practicing. You see his origins with Tim and the Billy Crudup character who's fucking fantastic,
yeah.
reading the menu,
Yeah.
crying and shit like that.
That's great. Yeah.
Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of this movie. I forget which one it was called. It's a Woody Allen movie, but it's also like about like Woody Allen playing a filmmaker going through a retrospective. So Baumbach loves Woody Allen.
Yeah,
He's probably
Yeah.
the next Woody Allen, right? But more
Him
like
him and
modern.
his wife Gerwig, right?
Sure, yeah. Even like him writing Barbie is like a step up in like him going the next level, So, but I love this film. It's fucking fantastic. Very dramatic, very funny at parts, but
Yeah.
appropriately dramatic.
You didn't even say
role.
nothing about Sandler.
Yeah, I was getting there, man. I was getting there right now. But he has a great, fantastic arc as well. Him playing the manager who's always like looking after him, but he finds out that like, hey, maybe I'm putting into this relationship more than I'm getting out of, right? Like, I'm your friend. I'm always there for you. I left my tennis match for you. And I get nothing in return except for 15%, right? But then, one of the things that the critics talk about, and a lot of people, and I get this argument, is that Jay Kelly, the character, is just unrelatable, right? He's just this man-child, like self-centered narcissist that doesn't deserve the arc that he wants. He wants to spend time with his family, right? He wants that time back, but he can't because he's so selfish in having this kind of like tunnel vision. I want to be the greatest actor. I want to be a star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that kind of line of, can you relate to him? You can't, because nobody's like that. But I do feel like a lot of Noah Baumbach characters are like that. So if you're not aware of that, it's kind of hard to relate. But I found it very fascinating at the least, even if not relatable. You know what I mean? And I love one of the great endings. You're talking about endings. Him watching the retrospective and like crying. Sorry, spoilers for Jay Kelly, but that callback to him in the beginning shooting the film, saying, "Can I get another one? Can I do it again?" And I want to ask you. Maybe I'll ask you. Is it on your list?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll ask you after. Well, let me ask you. What do you think that meant?
Can I get another one?
Yeah.
Let me get back to that one. Let me think about that one. Yeah.
Well, for me, immediately I thought, literally, it means can I see that trailer again?
Yeah.
Can I see that? It was great. You know, can you run it back?
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not that. And also, it could also mean, can I get another shot at my career? Can I get another one?
Yeah.
But this is where I think, because I recently saw it again. During that retrospective, it cuts to him watching the films of his daughters, putting on a show for him. So, and he's like deep in that moment. So he's in that mindset. So I actually think it's him saying, can I do it over? Can I get back that time with my daughters again? You know, it's up to you if you're like a nostalgic,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a sentimentalist, you'll think he's talking about his daughters. If you're like a more pessimistic, like realist, you'll say he'll probably just do the same thing over and over again, because that's how psychology works. You know what I mean? So I love that ambiguity of an ending. Baumbach and I think Emily Mortimer, fantastic. You know, Baumbach is a great writer. They're great writers. Come on, great fucking fantastic line. So that's my number 3. With
Based
bullet,
on that, I
Kelly.
think you would really like sentimental value. You hit again. There's a aspect of that.
Oh, yeah, really? Okay.
Should I have lived my life differently? The prioritization of art versus your own personal life. You know what I mean? So that that mirrors a lot of the themes.
So interesting.
Like that. So man, no, a great choice for that. Yeah.
It sounds like sentimental value would be on my list if I've seen it.
Yeah, sure.
But it feels like
Can't
just
see
this took
everything.
priority because of Baumbach and his like style of writing and stuff like that. But that was my number 3.
3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Kelly. What is your number 2?
So so these are could easily switch places, but they're definitely the two. Where like I said, the last 3, these top 3 are locked in. Marty Supreme.
Okay.
Probably the last movie I saw of 2025. Obviously, quite familiar with Safdie's, but again, this is just I think Joel, right? Josh.
Yeah.
Not Benny. So, I think everyone, everyone's paying attention to cinema is like probably aware of like Chalamet's freaking hype train and his marketing for it,
Mm-hmm.
and his push for best actor. And I mean, I can see it because I mean, it's an inspired performance,
Yeah.
man.
He
It
got the Golden
anchors-
Globe, right?
Yes, yes. It's an inspired performance. There's aspects of it where, I could see how it closely, there's a lot of DNA there with the two previous movies, one being Good Time, Robert Pattinson, and then Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler. Similar themes where you kind of have a deplorable character that I think either you're on board because like there's enough charm or wit or interest that you can root for them,
Yeah.
but if you can't, that makes it a tough
Sure.
watch.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And like that, I like that kind of. I like those who lean into that risk taking.
Where do you lean?
Oh, in this case, yeah. So for Uncut Gems, I couldn't really stand Adam Sandler.
I was going to mention that. I
Yeah.
was going to mention, yeah.
But Chalamet,
I'll get that too.
I see more moments of humanity in him, and obviously Chalamet is a more charismatic guy. Because at the end of the day, who's more charismatic? We can follow anybody. Like Hans Landa, Inglourious Basterds.
Mhm.
Like Joker. I mean, dude, horrific characters doing
Sure.
terrible stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But if they're funny and charismatic, I mean, humans we love that. We like the dichotomy of like,
Yeah. It's a train wreck.
Yeah.
We can't look away.
Yeah, but it's like, and it's like a host that like you're on board with. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you want to be with this character. You want to root for them.
Yeah.
And yes, ultimately, I mean, like those other movies, it takes you on this anxiety driven, which drove my wife crazy because like she hates that kind of
Yeah,
feeling.
okay,
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
for me, like, oh man, like I really like, I lean into that. Like I like living in that,
Mhm.
the not knowing or like something horrible might happen, or his character putting other characters in dire situations or tension filled dangerous situations.
Sure.
And all that. Again, I would call it again what would I controlled chaos?
Yeah,
controlled chaos.
Nice,
And,
nice word.
and that's another theme there, and that's it's hard to pull off.
Mhm.
Like Balance of a Small Player, controlled chaos. One battle after another.
Mhm.
Like it really does feel all over the place, tonally, characters moving here, editing back and forth. But like when you're in the hand of a good director, like they make it work. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
really pull you into it, and so it's one of the most definitely like committed performances in a while you've seen. I didn't think he was that. Honestly, I didn't think he was that. I mean, he's a narcissistic, deplorable person in terms of like what he's willing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like we've seen, reminiscence things like that. DNA of that in other characters in throughout movie history. But overall, what the movie's doing in terms of that kind of chaos, and it was fun. It's fun to see.
Yeah.
Chalamet is like he's an ascension to glory, and I don't think he's peaked. I mean, obviously, this is a new peak for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. People have talked about Safdie and saying sometimes like with brothers, the other one being the Coen brothers, maybe one is more talented than the other.
I see what you mean,
After
yeah.
all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
so does it not? I mean, it feels literally like both brothers directed it because it doesn't feel too far from Good Time or Uncut Gems.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Knowing those movies and knowing that he was gonna do something similar, but again, great supporting cast. There's a meta thing going on, I think, with Gwyneth Paltrow. In a way, somewhat mirrors like Clooney, and
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of interesting as well. And good surprises, like it's a movie that you don't really know what the hell's gonna be. And I know some people have a problem because it seems scattered and jilted and all that. I think
Yeah.
One About
Episodic,
Another.
maybe.
Yeah, One About Another has similar issues. I think some people might not feel there's a cohesion there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride, and and it's a movie I've only seen once, but the other movies I've seen more than once. I feel confident I'll really enjoy it again.
Yeah,
The nuances of
yeah.
the performance and the direction and the way the plot is kind of unfolding in that like chaotic way, and some people just don't like that chaos.
Yeah,
But to me, like again, it's controlled
Mhm.
chaos, and
Yeah.
and it's hard to pull off, and so that's what puts it in this top 3 situation for me.
Nice. Solid choice.
Mhm, yeah.
Fantastic choice. Number 2 for you is Marty Supreme by Josh Safdie. Now, my number 2 is Uncut Gems. I mean, Marty Supreme.
I'm like, wow, okay, that's a
It's so
same
good.
movie. No?
It's so
Like,
good
they're like,
that I had to put it
you
in
know,
for the 22.
you're
No,
like, starring Adam Sandler. I mean,
but
you know, sorry.
I'm glad you mentioned how you disliked Uncut Gems, and I remember I put it number 2, and you did not like it. I didn't have a response for that, but I do see how you could dislike that character so much. He is despicable. But going back to the fact that there's no way to describe how singular, Good Times, Uncut Gems, Marty Supreme is just like completely visceral.
Yeah.
Like there's no other filmmaker that does that these days, that just take you to this ringer of like, aside from like a thriller or a horror movie, but they do it with real situations. You know what I mean? Going back to what you said about Benny Safdie, Smashing Machine I didn't get. I thought it was super meandering.
I didn't see it, yeah.
And not to spoil anything, but watching Marty Supreme, I feel like those two movies are in conversation with each other. Smashing Machine is about an athlete at the end of his career. Marty Supreme is about an athlete at the beginning of his career. But you can totally tell the distinction of the two brothers' styles, right? It's like, you could even see it in The Curse, which is his, Benny Safdie's show with Nathan Fielder. It was different. It was like a little slower, a little more moodier. It's kind of paced a little bit more, like slowly. So, but Marty Supreme, man, going back to what you said about Uncut Gems, I feel like what makes, like, okay, let me just describe a scene from Uncut Gems real quick. Like, in the beginning, when they're in the his diamond office, and there's like 3 things going on, right? Like, you got the not Darius, but the Lakeith Stanfield character with KG. He's got business, right? You got the Julia Fox character. His coworkers are like trying to get his attention for something, and then you got the 2 goons over there waiting for him because he's racking up bets or whatever. And they're all like talking over each other, so it's like it's very organic. It's not like staged. It doesn't feel staged. It feels real.
It's funny. It's precisely what my wife said, because she grew up in a Colombian family where they do talk over each other.
Yeah,
and that triggered like almost a PTSD of trauma.
You know what I mean?
Like, where you have to. In reality, it's like just multiple people talking, and like and like I said, they control chaos. Like, normally that it's an unnerving feeling.
Right. And then later in the scene, you got him. Oh, you can't buzz him in. Keep buzzing. You can't buzz him in. And then the scene where KG is like leaning on the things, like, oh, KG, you gotta, that thing's gonna break. You don't lean on that, KG. We know it's gonna happen. It's gonna break, but it's just like this bomb about to go off. And that's just like one of the opening scenes. Don't get me started later with the huge parlay bet. But I get what you're saying. He is a despicable character, but ultimately he gets what he gets at the end. It's he won this huge bet. He probably has racked up so much debt. And do you think that's the end for him? No. He's probably going to parlay that to some more shit. He's about the ride. He's going to end badly for this guy, So I feel like...
Do you think, though, like, going back to Marty Supreme, it exists? I know we're talking about, as a single entry where, like, I've never seen any Safdie movie before you walk into this,
Oh, if you watch Marty Supreme?
Yeah.
Let me get to that real quick. But let me compare some scenes from Marty Supreme to that scene. Like, the scene where he's in the bathtub. Shit, like chaos erupts. It's like one after another. Like, talking about one battle, there's one situation. If it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking other, So it's like that, and the fact that he casts like relative unknowns. Like, if you going back to, I just saw Uncut Gems like 2 weeks ago, but the cast of Uncut Gems is like, the Diamond District is like actual people. You know what I mean? He doesn't cast, or the Safdies don't cast like amateurs and make them play a character. That would be inauthentic, right? He says, hey, what do you do? Oh, you're a Diamond District? You just play you. You know what I mean? And it feels real, feels lived in. So that that anxiety is actual. You know what I mean? Here's what one of the producers said about
goes back to what I said about the
actors.
texture.
Yeah.
It's hard to really get it down. There's a lot of things going on in it, and with them, they get the texture, I think, pretty well. Of just like being in that that time period, all that
Right,
things,
right,
like
right.
period movies and whatnot, you know. But yeah, like I said, like the the clothing, like the you know what they're saying, that the actual words are coming out, the way they're responding, the way the side characters are like, you know,
Yeah.
doing mundane things and
Right.
whatnot.
I believe it's one of the casting directors. They were talking in a Q&A, Jennifer Venditti. She said, "We're not looking for non-actors just to do something cool. It's like, how can someone's life inform the written word in a way that someone else didn't?" So they actually like elevate the material. It's like actually, you know, they're not just doing it, you know, for kicks.
Yeah.
They're just doing it to actually elevate the art. And another instance of Marty Supreme, which to me like kind of stands out, but like it feels like a 50s movie by way of 80s, especially with the soundtrack and stuff like that. So it's a little off-putting that way, but I'm fine with it. It's cool.
I think most people are, right?
Right. And that scene where they're like they go in the bowling alley, and that guy who's like playing table tennis, he looks so like rough and worn down. It's like, I don't want to fuck with that guy. You know what I mean? And then like they end up hustling them and then running off, and then you know that whole chase. But going back to Marty Supreme, here's what Josh Shafty said about. And this is what I love about. You could even relate it to Good Times, about how the main character is trying to control their fate in a way. They're trying to. Here's what Josh Shafty said. He said, you know, so Marty Mauser has his dream, right? He's just like this singular focus of being the best. He wants to be on the Wheaties box, whatever he says, right? Oh, there you go. It's the Marty Supreme ball. It's not the Marty regular ball. But he says this in the Q&A. He says, "I believe that a dream is a heist on fate. It's an attempt to kind of control your fate." So if you think about it in that regard, like Marty Supreme is kind of like a heist movie, a heist to control his destiny. And it's this theme of controlling your destinies throughout the that film. You know, when he cracks the little rock from the Egyptian thing and gives it to his mom. It's like, this is our destiny. There's our you know, where we come from, right? And the same thing with the black opal and uncut gems, right? It's this heist on fate. He's trying to control.
Yeah.
Howard is trying to control his destiny, right? You having a good time? Yes. Sorry. No other words. I've talked about this long enough. I fucking love the Safdies. I love Josh Safdie. I love Marty Supreme. For a while, it was my number one. Recency bias put it at number one for a while, but I'll get to why I chose my number one. So that's my number two. Marty. Both of our number twos. Marty Supreme.
Yeah. I'm gonna add that I saw it as a movie closer to being the closest brethren, or you know, tracking movie is Catch Me If You Can. I saw it as like a grifter, a young grifter who like had, you know, who just kind of wanted to experience like a larger than life, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, nice.
And willing to kind of go through everything. Of the difference though, Marty Supreme, he had a goal, or he had an intention, where I think, you know, Leo and Catch Me If You Can was just drifting. You know, he's just going from one height to the next. But the way, you know, the grifts and the you know, the level of manipulation and deception, like had these two characters to me very similar pathways. You know what I mean? Like making up as they go along, deceiving whoever they need to you know, get the upper hand or enjoy their life, whatever. Obviously, you know, like, but in Marty Supreme, it's like what I enjoyed though is that like he had a singular, like I said, a singular vision of wanting to be the best, or needing to get to Japan or the tournament, which was great. But I saw that, you know, like a brethren of, oh man, these two guys are very similar to each other. You know, they're like, and he means necessary. You know, keep it going. You know, keep the wave going. You know, and I think, you know, it's like I said, both are they're kind of like heist movies, right? Like, how did they pull it off? Like, how is this guy doing it? You know, and you know, both of these are real life characters, right? Frank Abagnale, Catch Me If You Can,
and Marty Mauser,
exactly. You know, so like I saw the parallels there.
Nice,
but obviously
I didn't see that.
Safdie version of a movie.
Yeah, the ambition is definitely there. It's one of those movies that I was obsessed with after I saw. I was like, I wanted to know more about this movie. I watched the trailers over and over, and then I tried to find all the interviews interviews I could find. And
I'm surprised it's not your number one.
I'll get into why when it gets there, but it probably would be. But same thing for what I said about Uncut Gems. It was like, it's posterity. I know that
Yeah.
this number one's gonna live
Yeah.
on and on, you know.
Yeah, gotcha.
And but yeah, those movies come along like once every year or two, where I'm completely obsessed over it. You know, I just want to go back and find every tidbit about it. You know what I mean? I can't remember the last time something like The Social Network or
Yeah.
like even Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I know it sounds highly unlikely that I would be into that, but yeah, that was my number two. Long-winded way of saying number two. Marty Supreme,
Yeah.
our number two. What's your number one, or tentatively?
Yeah. Well, again, probably interchangeable between these three. I think I put this at one for the reason that it had the most impact on me during the theatrical viewing. Hamnet. Man, it's the emotional powerhouse that delivered and all those aspects. To me, it's just anchored by these two phenomenal performances. You know, Jesse Buckley, who's been, ascending in all these great performances, and then Paul Mescal, who hasn't really impressed me yet. You know, I haven't seen him the best of his work, but I saw Gladiator and all that. You know, I know he's a solid actor, but the level of vulnerability, the level of commitment on both these actors dealing through trauma, and again, the theme that hit the hardest is, using art as a way of healing, as therapy, for these characters. The movie itself, on talking about sticking the landing, had an ending that literally I could feel the energy of every person in the theater going through almost some sort of catharsis together. Like, I don't think I've experienced that before. Like, the amount of emotions and amount of pain and suffering, like, that we've got, the sadness that that we're going through as with the characters, and then this ending that like felt almost like dreamlike, that felt almost like therapy or something like that. The way it was constructed, the way how close it got you to the stage. It was a play, at the end, right? It's very Shakespearean, it is Shakespearean for sure, but I could feel like this energy in the audience. I didn't hear that many sniffles, but I know it. I know people were letting out emotions, and I knew the director took him, Chloe Zhao took him to a level of like, despair or just sadness, and then was able to like heal with the characters in a sort of like communal catharsis at the end of the movie that I don't think I've ever really experienced in the cinema outside, for not in a while. I mean, you got your laughs, you got, during Weapons. I mean, man, the ending of Weapons, everyone wasn't really into. There's a lot of stuff like that. But the power of cinema is like kind of, is reminded to me in that movie of how, visuals, music, acting is just all like orchestrated in a way where it's like the poetry of it is like astounding. Like, you're kind of like removed from the screen and your seat, like in it, and I'm like, okay, I haven't experienced like that in a while, that power of cinema and that level of both internal and immediate and personal like commitment or personal effect, and then like this communal effect, and it was intentional for sure. You know what I mean? Like, you can, is the art, it's literally like a reminder that like art can heal. People use art to heal. You know? Like whether it's relating to a character or a movie or a moment. We talked about like the anxiety my wife felt hearing people talk over each other. Mari Supreme, and gave her so much anxiety. But other aspects of like we talked about the meta stuff and how Sentimental Value, the other movie I enjoyed. People wanting to connect again, or like feeling like they lost something, and in this case the Jay Kelly losing time and wishing he maybe should have done something differently, what really mattered to him in his life, so I don't know, these themes are explored, and loss and recovery and healing, and so that was encapsulated in like this exceptional way. Like the whole movie itself, start to finish, was like drew me in, and like I was like, okay, Chloe Zhao, hey, I remember liking your movies like Nomadland and stuff, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Eternals, and like like, do you still have that skill set, to be able to like transport a viewer to that kind of level? And so so that puts Hamnet, especially with those performances too. Like both of those actors to me are like just clear winners of like how great they were Then you got a director who like literally is like so skilled at like the precision of every single scene and how it coincides with music and all that. Like the only auteurs I can think of who can do that on that level is some like the craftsmanship of like Nolan or something like that. How can you meld music, film, frame, set, sequence to sequence? So anyway, so like it could be my number one, but those other two movies are fantastic. The other two being Marty Supreme and Cinema Value. So yeah, so
that's great, man. A lot of critics agree with you, and I think it got best dramatic picture at the Golden Globes. It's on my radar. I don't know why I didn't. I heard Hamnet and it just didn't catch my attention. I'm like, is it like Shakespeare in Love or something? Like, I'm not just really these days. I'm not super into like heavy-handed, kind of prestige level Oscar baity, which it sounds negative, but
it is that way, But you walk in kind of thinking that, but then you walk in with open mind, thinking like, I'm in the hands of an auteur who's gonna take me somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I think what happened with what happened last year, my close personal friend passing away, co-host of the Laser Boy, I wanted to stay away from horror movies and like deep
really
emotional cathartic type of movies.
Yeah.
So that probably had something to do with it. It's still really hard for me to watch Marvel movies because he and I were both Marvel zombies. But that's a great choice. I wish I would have seen it. And
maybe in time.
Yeah, maybe. I may watch it before the Oscars. Just to get ready for that.
But you're right about that in the sense that, like, I guess it's an Oscar beating. Chloe Zhao's already won an Oscar, and along with her her lead, Frances McDormand, going back to Nomadland, I see it echoing again.
Right.
Like, this person truly knows what they're doing to an exceptional level. But yeah, it's a tasting. Like I can see how movies like Weapons, like all the movies we're talking about, Begonia, Eddington, Marty Supreme, all polarizing. I can see someone making an argument that they hated all those movies because it just didn't like how it made them feel, or just they didn't enjoy the the tone of it. I'm like, that's valid, So but so worth watching. Maybe if you can get around to it. It's up there. I think the best of last year.
Definitely check it out. Well, that brings us to the end of the show.
No.
I love being anticlimactic like that. That's
but I know. Yeah.
But my number one is K-pop Demon Hunters.
I know it's not. But it should be.
It could. You know what? Yeah, it sounds like a joke, but it actually could be because I am into K-pop and I am to popular films. Superman is my number 9. So.
I'll be like, dude,
how disappointed would you have been?
Well, I've been like, dude, so I'll be like, you don't like Paul Thomas Anderson anymore.
You probably would have been like, motherfucker,
not even the top 10.
You probably would have been like, tell me more, but then you're like, what the fuck?
Well, at least I know what your number one favorite honorable mention is,
Yeah, it's got to be one battle after another. I told you about how like this is my posterity pick. I was listening to our 2019 list, and I think we both picked Parasite, which I still don't regret. But to this day, I've never rewatched it, and it should have been like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or something, because I've seen that so many times. But again, this is just like my Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's like from a generational filmmaker, generational performances, quotable endlessly. We talked about that when you talked about your pick. I'm gonna not say too much about it here because it's so many things have been said about it.
Sure.
I do like to compare it. Well, not compare
favorite
it. Favorite
character in the movie?
Well, besides Sensei, St. Carlos, and Bob, it's probably gonna be Bob.
It gotta be one.
It's probably gonna be Bob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob,
But here, I like to compare it to, or what's it like a metaphor, to Star Wars. Have you heard this comparison before?
I have not.
It is a hero's journey. It is like an updated, modern version. If you think about it.
What about the father aspect? Oh, I guess.
Okay, so you got the bounty hunters. You got Willa's Luke. Willa's Luke.
Okay.
Bob's Obi-Wan. Sensei Sergio St. Carlos is Yoda.
Okay. Stretch. Yeah.
Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Is Vader because he's the father.
Sure.
Yeah, it isn't all completely a line,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's there. It is the hero's journey. It is Paul Thomas Anderson's Star Wars. In modern.
I think Sensei should be Han Solo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I guess there's no Han Solo in this
Yeah,
situation,
yeah,
but he could
exactly.
be Han and
Sure,
Yoda.
yeah.
The French 75,
No,
75
but
are
no
the
love
rebels.
story either.
Yeah,
Star Wars had a love story, or a budding bit, a budding one. But.
Okay, it's falling apart now. So just stop talking.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, yeah,
But- But no, I like that. I love that idea. It's like it's gonna be. My point is, it's gonna be timeless. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like a modern, like folk tale that you can go back to and watch over and over and get, something different out of it. Which is mostly all of his movies are like that. You get new meaning from watching it multiple times. Probably not my favorite PTA film, and also same thing what you said about Eddington.
Yeah.
The first time I kind of didn't get it.
Yeah.
I was like watching it with I heard all these critics raved. I'm like, I was kind of watching impress me,
Yeah.
And then I watched it with a sparse audience who didn't really laugh, and I didn't get that it was absurdist. I thought it was taken at face value.
Yeah.
So I was like, am I supposed to laugh at that?
Yeah. Right.
So it was weird. It's weird. I liked it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was just like, I didn't get what people praised it for.
Yeah.
You took me to see it in IMAX, 70 millimeter, great audience, and the look was fantastic. Obviously on film, and I was
Just
like,
getting
after
a second
that, I
chance
was
to
just
see it
like,
again, right? And just
yeah,
now going past the where the plot was going,
and all the
that,
anticipation,
but just kind of investing in the individual scenes and being like, what's
Yes.
going on in this scene?
Yeah.
What is he trying to do? And
right.
what's my other take on it? How can I, is it the same as the first time I saw, or just being able to appreciate what's going on a little bit more individually? And whatnot,
Yeah, absolutely. After that, I was just like, I get it, and I was just like, thank you,
Yeah.
and thank you, Dad, for taking me, and it was fantastic. It's gonna be something that's timeless. I'm gonna look back on and say I'm gonna rewatch this. Plenty of times.
Yeah.
And he's on top of the world right now. PTA and Leo and that cast is incredible. I can't wait to see what he does next. Quentin Tarantino, where are you? What are you doing right now?
He's putting all the pressure on himself to try to deliver this freaking masterpiece final movie, because he pigeonholed himself already.
Yeah, exactly. He's putting so many limitations on
He already
himself.
passed off
Past
Cliff
his
Booth's
critic
character
movie?
who did he pass it off to? The Brad Pitt Cliff Booth movie.
Is David Fincher, which is one of my
'cause, he
anticipated
was gonna
movies
do
of
that
the year.
movie, right? But then now he can't make it a 10 out of 10, so
Right,
he gotta
exactly.
give someone else. Hey, okay, he's probably gonna keep kicking the can down.
Let's
the
talk
road
about that
forever.
later. We're gonna
Sure.
get into our honorable mentions right now.
Yeah.
So that was our top 10 list. Mine was One Battle After Another, tentatively asterisk. Dad's was Hamnet. Great list, man. I really like listening to
At the end
all of
it
your
all,
choices.
when we look back, I'm probably not gonna remember Hamnet as much as I'll remember Maury Supreme.
I see.
One
Yeah,
About
but
Another,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
But I
As
mean,
far as,
it's how you felt at the time.
Yeah,
You can't.
yeah.
Don't
Don't
apologize.
No, these are not top. Remember, they're not in order.
Okay,
so
okay.
It's just, other than the top 3 being in the top 3.
Don't ever apologize.
No, I'm not apologizing. I'm just stating. Later on.
I just want to say that because
Yeah.
I like how you said that too. Okay, do you want to start with your animal mentions?
I'll just go through. Yeah. Let's see here. Number 1, I'll put Sinners there.
What is it?
Sinners.
Oh yeah,
Sinners. Yeah.
I was surprised it wasn't on your list.
The second act of the movie just didn't really quite work, and I've seen the movie like 3 times now, so I was like, I enjoy what it is, but
Right.
it's just that part of it wasn't
Kind of.
particularly a great. I love I typically really love vampire movies.
Yeah.
And I like how he tried to bring it in, it just didn't stick. But I mean, dude, the original movie, I love Ryan Coogler, like the man himself, and how he thinks of his contribution to cinema, and his literally just his as a creative in the industry right now. Dude, it gets so many things right. I'm just glad it hit a nerve with audiences, mainstream audiences. In terms of
It's a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah. And then I'm like, how did you can't just do that? He did it with
he
Black
did it out of
Panther
nowhere.
2 times already, right?
Yeah.
So I was like,
It is with the original property. It's crazy.
So dude, like, props to him to be, like I said, like, so many people support him. Like he works. I know, like Nolan. He's worked with Nolan. Has given a lot of tips, and he's worked with other directors.
Oh, that's great.
Really, like, they love his enthusiasm, and so anyway, Sinners just has, like, again, just for what it is, and for him bringing his talents to it. What's his name? Jack O'Connell. That was my favorite part of the movie.
Who's he?
He played the lead vampire guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Irish guy. Remember? And then I'm going to go with the other ones. Train Dreams, Netflix. Train Dreams was Joel Edgerton. Man, that just really should have been in my top 10. That also had like a good emotional connection to me, or like I felt moved by it. Joel Edgerton, I think, should be nominated. He did things that I don't think other actors can do in that movie. It's pretty much he was in it the whole movie. But it's it's a Oscar Beatty prestige type movie. I get, what I mean. Like, the thing is, I just like. I'm going in. I like weapons and I like this and I like action movie. I like these movies too.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, that's why you should say don't apologize. But anyway,
You cut yourself.
and then I'm finish off with No Other Choice. I did like it's one of those movies though. Like actually, the first viewing it didn't really stick. The second viewing really the Korean aspects of it really came into me. The absurdist, the great scene when they're fighting each other and they're fighting over the gun, the wife.
Oh yeah.
And the loud music, the audio. Yeah. He's an audiophile.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great stuff that
great.
sticks with me. But like, and again, Chenwood Park, I was gonna say like, guy went from doing really dark movies to now doing something a little light. And I'm almost kind of like thrown off by like, why is he doing it so light and so absurd? That's not what he does, and that like made me kind of confused. But then ultimately, like, the movie has great themes and great artistry, and like it's masterclass directing. All these movies are talking about masterclass directing. Like these are like far and above like all the movies like I said, Sinners has masterclass directing. I just don't think it's as tight as like Chenwood Park or Chloe Zhao or Paul Thomas Anderson. The controlled chaos. And then lastly, I actually just saw this movie last weekend, Testament of Anne Lee, with Amanda Seyfried. What's her name? By
and the filmmakers behind Brutalist, right?
Yeah. At least Monica, no, something. Vaughn,
the wife. Yeah.
Of Brady Colbert.
Yeah.
Mona. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It's a musical.
Oh.
It's like a history lesson as well. It's I'll also call it controlled chaos. It's a little bit maybe too unrestrained. Like it maybe needed a more confident directing hand, but it feels like bold though. And I like part of the movies I'm liking are bold movies. Like to take some wild big swings. Mario Springs is a big swing of a movie. One Mouse and Another is a big swing of a movie, and so like that one, like to me could be a movie that could creep in the top 10. But ultimately, there's some plot aspects of it that man didn't love, and pacing aspects and things like that keeps it out of the top 10. But those are phenomenal movies that really round out this great 2020.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
There's some other ones, but like probably other ones you mentioned, like Black Bag is definitely one and whatnot. But yeah, I'll end on that. Testament.
Nice. Very good. My first one, I bumped this actually for No Other Choice, was Wake Up Dead Man.
Knives Out 3.
Benoit Blanc. Third tale. I loved all the films. I felt like Glass Onion is probably the lighter one, but it's still tons of fun. Probably my favorite Benoit Blanc, probably my favorite of the trilogy. It's just like the mystery aspect was there, and the fact that it was just like philosophy lesson from both Benoit Blanc and the Josh O'Connor.
He's so good, man.
Yeah, he's great.
Really good, dude.
Like, I don't want to get into it deeply, but that scene where it has nothing to do with maybe it does have to do with the plot, but yeah, because she gives him information about what the clues was, but it's when it's a minor character who calls in and says her mother's sick, and the father like takes like the whole night to talk to her to console her grief.
There's a great written scene and a great
it was like
nice.
This is what priests. This is what the good that they bring, right? And no matter where you are on it, I was a devout Catholic. I'm a little bit of on the fence right now. I kind of feel like it's the biggest pyramid scheme ever, but at the same time, I feel like we need spirituality, and wherever we can get it, we should get it. Even if it is a pyramid scheme, fuck it.
I think like
But
I was gonna say like it's a glimpse of humanity,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, like when these movies take like a little bit of time
yes,
to to do that,
Yes.
like it requires you to like get away from I gotta move the plot and do all this, but like
it was fantastic.
yeah,
That was such a great.
and those are
Yeah,
things that kind of stay
humanizing
with
scene.
you, it
Yeah.
stays with you more than like who the killer was or whatever,
Yeah.
but just like a poignant moment where
Right.
like it gets like you're like I don't think this was supposed to be. It's like a deep cut, like a deleted scene or
Yeah,
something. That
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like why didn't you keep that in the movie? Because it's like
Yeah.
so poignant, so compelling.
Yeah,
but
it
then-
informs the character
Yeah,
deeply.
yeah.
You know, because
But
he's like a true,
yeah,
like,
and in this case,
he's,
yeah, exactly,
he's no
yeah.
Monsignor Wicks.
But they're not.
We talked about
But
all
it's
the
like,
ways he
you
jerked
know-
off.
But it's not like one of those like, hey, we for runtime we got to cut
Yeah,
a couple.
Well, it's a 2.5 hour,
Yeah.
2.5 hour movie, but it's a little.
I'm glad he kept that.
But,
though.
yeah, me too. It was an accident.
Yeah,
Barely.
it's just an
I
accident,
could have
yeah.
probably made 10 or something, but
Yeah.
Jafar Panahi, I believe he's in prison for this movie. Is illegally made.
Well, like, was it worth it? Like,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you've seen it or no?
Mm.
Oh, you haven't.
Yeah, I'm not,
Without spoiling anything, I do believe the ending is very ambiguous.
Okay.
Kind of frustrated me at first. I was like,
Gotcha.
"Whoa, why?
Yeah.
Come on!" Like it's one of those like art housey kind of endings.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm like
Yeah.
thinking about it. I think I had to look it up, look up like an explanation, and the explanation was pretty poignant. I was just like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." It's like the presence of totalitarianism will always be there without spoiling anything.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So,
Sure. Yeah.
cut stealing.
frustrating.
You thank you for bringing that up because
Yeah.
I completely would have forgot about. It's like his after hours, like just
Yeah.
fucking fantastic,
Sure. Yeah.
fun romp. Sinners, same issues I had with you. I didn't really like I like vampire films, but I felt like it was. It could have been a fine movie without that.
Sure,
It felt like
Probably
From
would have
Dusk Till Dawn.
benefited from maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Could be,
Yeah, I love the deep, the southern themes. I love Delroy Lindo.
yeah.
It felt like he was in another movie with his deep accent and stuff like that. But, and I have two. I usually have a Netflix doc in every list, but I failed to have one this year. Just no room. No room for you guys. Unknown Number, the high school catfish, was a fantastic
Yeah. What's it called?
film. Unknown Number, the high school
Unknown
catfish.
Number. Okay. Yeah.
It's a film about a girl getting catfish. She's like a young middle schooler, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the reveal of who the catfish is
Wow. Oh,
is
that
pretty
sounds great.
incredible.
Okay.
It's
That's
not incredible, but
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
brutal.
Shocking, yeah.
It's brutal. It's
Okay.
like what the fuck? How could you?
Mm.
Kind of thing. Cover Up is the Laura Petrus. Sorry, can't think of her name. She did Citizen 4. She's very into like these conspiratorial, like government cover-ups, and they talk about everything from like My Lai to I can't forget what else, but My Lai was so poignant for me, how they covered that up and like basically put it on a patsy, like a Lee Harvey Oswald, like this crazy guy who just went wild. No, there's like 5 different My Lais going on at the same time, right? That they later revealed, and really fascinating, really sobering indictment of our federal government.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, quickly, I know we're running long, over 2 hours. Real quickly, what movies do you? You know what? Let's just go into. I don't want to. I was going to talk about like what was most disappointing for you or something like that. But would you want to talk? Do you have one off the top of your head?
Probably Sinners.
Sinners?
Because of that reason. Like I
Disappointing,
didn't like it, but overall, it's like you definitely recognize greatness in the movie and how it could have been it could have been a number one, had it pulled everything together, really well. I don't even know if Michael B. Jordan is a guy that's reached levels of some of these other like heavy-hitted actors.
Yeah.
Man, okay. I mean, yeah.
How would a film you got that they didn't get?
Oh, like Eddington is a movie
Okay.
that like a lot of the movies on our list. I think movies like that honestly, again, even that movie though. First movie I enjoyed it. Second movie I enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
The way you felt. I think about like one after another. These movies might find legs later. It just missed the audience because of the theatrical window, because of short attention span and all that. The award will definitely bring back some of them, but maybe something like Mars Supreme and whatnot. I don't know. There's nothing. I know some high profile. Maybe Avatar 3, a little bit of a disappointment.
Yes,
Like,
thank you.
Because it's just like it's the same story beats as part 2,
Yeah.
and then I thought, okay, but it's a spectacle, and it's to deliver on the spectacle, but kind of expect that, like the third one, if it's wrapping it up, it should be something more compelling, not just like give me the great action and all that. I know you're gonna do that, but have some more emotional beats or something. You still got like, lean on Zoe
Saldana.
to fucking deliver the emotional aspects, but that it's like, oh well, it's okay. It's didn't rise to anything, but it didn't wasn't like a complete disappointment. And at the end of the day, it keeps the freaking theater business alive, the movie industry alive, because it's making a ton of money.
I gotta disagree with you. I felt like it was a complete disappointment. Well, for me anyway, because it just felt inconsequential. Like you were saying, it just if it was a third movie, and I know they're gonna make 2 more, give me something like heavier. You know, like maybe wow me at least with. I know a major character died. Maybe the Kate Winslet. Sorry, spoilers. But yeah, one character dies, and it just felt so empty. I was like, what? Like the fight scene seemed like so repetitive and like we've done it before. It says fire and ash, but there's no fire and ash. It's just water again. It just felt like the same movie, like part 2 of The Way of Water.
Well, let me defend it here. Okay, so one, it introduced a really compelling villain. This female.
But they do nothing with her.
I disagree. She had there was a tryst between another character, alliance, and then one person described the movie to me as is spectacle. When you go see, he compared it to something like going Cirque du Soleil. You heard Cirque du Soleil? Yeah. You go there. Are you gonna remember the plot of it? You don't care about. You just care about the spectacle of it. You go there just wanting the crazy visuals and an interesting enough story where and I disagree with the visual effects. There was fire and ash and new technology. Cameron always uses movies to push new technology. There's definitely new technology, that aspects of it where I was literally at some point I thought I was looking at blue people. I didn't think about I'm looking at CGI characters. This water's fake, that's fake. No, I never thought about that at all. I literally thought the physics of everything looks fantastic. These are real people or painted blue people or aliens. I'm just watching in real time. I don't like the acting. I didn't love this spider guy character, but I never questioned that. What I saw was visually wow. Nowadays you and I watch AI slop and be like, look how fake that is. That person has 7 fingers.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree there. It is visually fantastic. But we got to agree to disagree just because I feel like, the fire and ash elements were introduced first, and then later it just devolved back into The Way of Water.
True.
Same thing with the villain. She's completely engaging. I wanted to know more about her. Relegated to
I agree with
the
you
second.
But you didn't mention the character, so that's what I'm saying. I'm mentioning her when you disregarded her.
No, I didn't.
You gotta give her credit.
Yeah.
Or you didn't. You glossed over that. That's an element that's valuable or has value.
Yeah, but it's like they're saving her for the next movie. It's like
I don't know. Maybe, hopefully.
That's what they're doing. It's obvious. What's his name is not dead. He fell. Oh, sorry. Spoilers. He fell, but
and
he's going to come back.
The same thing again.
Yeah, exactly.
But ultimately, it seems like the audiences want that.
Right.
Because they don't want anything so jarringly different and let's just kill all the characters.
Well, I didn't want them to kill all the characters, but give me some kind of emotional poignancy. You're talking about Cirque du Soleil, and I get that, but Way of Water affected me more, so I was just maybe that's just to me a better movie.
There was a death, there was a poignant death in that movie.
It just didn't hit me
like
as
I said,
much as...
it just seems like the story beats were literally repeated in this movie. Where I was like, but if you never saw Way of Water or whatever, or maybe you didn't love that one, this one could have been a little bit better.
I probably didn't like it at the time, but comparing it to Fire and Ash, I probably like it way better.
I think I like Fire and Ash more.
Okay.
Between the two.
All right.
Yeah. I just I like the new villain. I like you know what I mean? I like the new story beats or not the new story beats, but the main story beats a little bit a little bit, more interesting this time around. There's a little bit more fear,
Okay.
I did feel like anybody could go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they already killed off a significant character at the end of the second one. I felt they killed off another character in this one too.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, anybody can go. I actually thought some character could actually be, oh shit, this guy might go too.
Okay.
So there was enough there, you know. So,
All right.
But overall, the movie's a disappointment because
Yeah. Okay.
it's Avatar, you know.
Yeah.
So you only get one like every 3 years, and
Sure.
this one has like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, maybe
300
it's Avatar fatigue too, because it
Sure. Yeah,
comes
exactly.
shortly after the last one.
Yeah.
But let me get into a film that I don't think people got, which was my last one. Is going to be The Smashing Machine.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
I hated it when it came out too, and I was along with the other people. I was like,
Yeah.
meandering schlock, almost like a mumblecore film. Like,
Okay.
we're expecting like fights, and then it does this thing where like they build things up, and let's say we're building up to this fight. Oh, it's highly anticipated. We know each other.
Oh,
it's personal.
doesn't happen.
And then nope.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
You know, so it does it countless times.
Yeah. That's weird.
And
yeah.
And if you're expecting
Intentionally? Like, is he trying to do it
I don't
intentionally?
know. I gotta watch
As a
it
way
again.
of misdirection of breaking the genre up or something?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But watching it, I'm gonna watch it again
Yeah.
with that in mind, and also what I said about it being a conversation with
Yeah.
Marty Supreme.
Yeah.
I feel like will kind of change my way of thinking about it, and I feel like also watching The Curse, knowing that Benny Safdie is a different filmmaker now,
Sure.
because I was expecting Uncut Gems.
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
come on! I was like, Safdie, your name's on it, A24. I was like, no, and then I can't do that nowadays. So what do you?
I want to
go ahead.
go.
No. You
I
add to that?
was going to end on a bold prediction, but I want to end it on a bold prediction.
No, well, I was gonna. Well, what are you looking forward to first?
I've just so many movies, man. I mean, just if I only saw one movie this year, it would just be Odyssey.
Okay.
Entirely in 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
In
I know. Probably gonna go see that with you. So.
Like I'm like, dude. I almost kind of feel though I haven't seen any frame of it, any trailer.
Oh, are you
I'm just
avoiding
like,
it intentionally?
Yeah, for sure. Trailers are to help you convince you to watch a movie. I don't need to be convinced to watch this movie, nor do I want to see any frame of it. But what if the movie's not good? What if the movie's like Avatar?
There's
3
no
or something
chance.
like
There's
that?
no chance. There's no chance. What's your least favorite Nolan movie?
Least favorite Nolan movie is
Is it like an
probably
early one?
Insomnia. Probably Insomnia.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it's good, but it's not like
Yeah.
it doesn't have the spectacle that he's
Yeah.
known for
Right.
now.
Yeah.
You know,
That was his first studio film. Yeah. So you got to take that into consideration.
Following was
They're all
his
indies, yeah.
movie, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, what are you gonna say? We're gonna make a bold prediction. What's your bold prediction?
Bold prediction. Tom Cruise wins the Oscar.
For Digger.
Correct.
Nice.
Inarritu.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
see him in a
again,
different.
the trailer is a teaser, but I'm like, dude, we all know Tom Cruise is so loved.
Yeah.
We know, he's finally off his Mission Impossible stuff. I think he intentionally was like, you know what, I'm gonna do some out of my range, something bold.
Like Magnolia type of cruise.
He can do it, you know.
Tropical
he's capable
Thunder
of it. So
type
who
of cruise.
better to work than with Inarritu,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
helped Leo, who never won an Oscar.
Yeah,
Get his
okay,
first Oscar.
okay.
So I'm like,
It's gonna be like Birdman level Tom Cruise.
I think
too.
so. It's gonna be meta level stuff,
Yeah.
probably the comedy. Like there's some bold stuff that's gonna happen. And Tom Cruise is already a guy that like people love.
Yeah.
And I don't know who he's gonna compete with. I guess he's gonna maybe compete with Matt Damon, but I don't think Matt Damon is gonna his role and
Yeah.
he's probably gonna be like Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, or I hope. I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
what's his name?
But-
Did got it?
But
Killian.
but Inarritu, I don't think he's done anything. What did he last do?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know he's just Revenant.
I think he
did a Spanish
he did
movie
movie
with
on
Bardem.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did something
I didn't
on
see
Netflix,
it.
I think, too.
Okay.
But anyway, that's my bold prediction.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll see.
Um,
Tom Cruise.
You
Yeah.
mentioned MI7, probably a movie I didn't get either. I felt like
That's like Avatar to me. Same
Yeah.
thing as the
I
same
was
beats
just
as the
like,
previous
come on,
movie.
you're supposed to be the last film, and it was
Yeah.
overstuffed. And
Yeah.
anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that.
Yeah.
I have three films I'm looking forward to completely. Is
Okay.
Doomsday. A huge Marvel
That's a
Studios head.
surprise. Yeah.
But
You
like-
don't say. No, yeah.
but- But come
What
on,
is that? No.
they're they're hyping that movie a year ahead, and the hype train is high.
Odyssey went on sale last
Sure,
year.
no, I'm looking forward to that too.
No, as
but-
far as hype, you're talking.
Oh,
about.
yeah.
It went on sale last July. Yeah.
The Social Reckoning. I'm a Social Network is probably my top.
That's what it's called. Social Reckoning.
The Social
Oh, I
Reckoning,
didn't
yes,
know that. Okay. Yeah.
the sequel to Social Network.
Fincher.
No,
No.
Sorkin is writing and
Okay.
directing. Jeremy Strong is Zuck,
Oh.
and
Interesting.
Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, I think are
Okay.
returning. The cinematographer is
Who's
returning.
directing though?
But it's Aaron Sorkin directing, so that's going to be
Oh, gotcha.
an asterisk because
Okay.
Fincher is my third
Yeah.
most
Mm.
anticipated film. It's the Cliff Booth sequel.
What's it called?
The
Oh,
Cliff
Cliff
Booth.
Booth, yeah,
I don't know what
Cliff
it's
Booth,
called.
Yeah.
So,
no,
but
it's untitled.
I
or
believe it's
untitled.
untitled. Yeah, they're not gonna call it Once Upon a Time too.
Sure.
You know, unless they're really unoriginal.
Yeah.
But you know, I still feel like that movie's a prank.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I see like the slate with David Fincher and
Yeah.
teleplay by Quentin. I'm like,
Sure.
is
Yeah,
that an April
yeah.
Fool's joke? It's,
Yeah,
how
but-
it's not true.
Yeah,
you know,
was
it feels
the last
unreal.
movie he's written that he didn't direct was probably True Romance or something.
Yeah, maybe or like Natural Born Killers.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm in for the
It's
chaos.
gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Fincher, man.
Is
Come
he
on.
eligible? Is Brad Pitt eligible for another Oscar? Playing the same character?
Oh, that's a good man.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a different year.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure,
there's no statute of limitations on.
He's
playing
he's
the
playing
same character,
He's
yeah.
playing the same performance or like that. That'd be
Yeah,
interesting. But anyway, Tom Cruise will get out there. I'm telling you, man.
It's gonna be Tom
he
versus
did it on
Brad.
purpose, dude. That's like all up your
Tom versus Brad.
I mean, like, I don't want him to be a clear favorite. I mean, we could just get messed too, but when's the last time you knew was really messed up? Like,
Yeah.
most of the movies, like,
Well, it's an American movie too, right?
it's
gonna be fascinating,
Comedy,
yeah.
dark comedy too. Not, you know, last time he did it was you know, like with Keaton, and Keaton probably should have won that year. I don't know who beat him, but
Yeah.
you know, it's phenomenal anyway. But
I was gonna ask you, what do you
Uh-huh.
think? I mean, it's no contest. Doomsday's probably gonna be the clear winner, box office wise. But do you think anything could upset Doomsday?
honestly,
Odyssey? Yeah. Okay.
sure.
Yeah, we'll
I mean,
see.
Doomsday is not. We don't know who's in it or what's gonna happen. But Odyssey, dude,
Yeah.
like tickets went on sale, like I said,
Oh,
last year, and it's
You
sold
didn't
out
mention
already.
Doom Messiah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're gonna share release dates, right?
They probably won't. I
Doomsday,
feel like
yeah.
Doomsday. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
For like the Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
No, I
No,
feel like
yeah.
Marvel's too smart for that. They're gonna bump the release up. I think Thanksgiving is still open right now, so I feel like they're gonna take that slot. They're
They
not
already
gonna
had the
want to
countdown
share.
already. They already got the countdown.
That's true, but you know,
I think they're
it's
gonna
just
do.
marketing
I think they're gonna
material.
put them both. I think they're gonna just do it.
Okay,
Why?
I think the smart thing to
Yeah.
do is to push it up though.
I
They
don't-
need the soul spot.
I'd say put them both out. The like same thing with the Barbenheimer. It's just two big movies that just
Oh.
will get the attention.
Okay.
And because like this year, going into Christmas, that Christmas weekend was huge.
Oh, right,
you know, because Christmas is on a Friday this year. It goes into the weekend, and then after that, there's like literally nothing after that. I think too.
Right.
Both movies have like clear runways to keep making a bunch of money.
But both
Week after
movies like
week.
2+ hours. They can be like a 6-hour double
know.
feature.
I mean, you would say in a way there's like two different audiences somewhat for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? One's more mainstream movie. One's more like, Oppenheimer wasn't really a mainstream movie, but Barbie was.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? So
Oh,
like,
good point. Yeah,
Messiah is the Oppenheimer in a sense, and everyone's gonna watch Avengers. But just by people going to watch Avengers, it just gets people like, you know, into the theater and being,
Right.
like, you know, to maybe see the secondary movie or whatnot. But that's phenomenal. You know?
How would you watch it first? Which one? Doomsday or Dune?
Oh well, Doomsday because of spoiler stuff.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler
Okay.
stuff. Doom's
Okay,
already.
Doom's-
We already know if you could get the book right now. I already know what the hell's going
Right,
on.
right,
But yeah,
right, right.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean, dude,
okay.
like you know, I'm just, that's just we're so spoiled though. You know, what I
It's
mean?
like the death proof way. The exciting one first, and
Yeah.
then death proof.
Because Doomsday's gonna have all these like kind of like Deadpool Wolverine, dude. You know, I saw freaking Wesley Snipes come back. Sorry, spoiler, guys. And Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh, you already saw it.
Blade,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like seeing him, it was just like we loved it. That's why we see these movies
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
the first weekend because of like
Mhm.
spoilers and
Yeah.
shit that hits you.
The surprise factor. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it's gonna
Alright.
generate quite a bit of content for you. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, for my Marvel
even leading
channel.
up, even leading
Yeah.
up into
Yeah,
these
for
damn
sure.
movies. Awesome.
We will see. Well, that was a long-winded conversation. No, not too long. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff in there, but I want to thank my guest yet again, my good friend, Dat Nguyen. Thank you so much for talking top 10, 2025 movies with me. You don't have any socials you want to share? Probably not.
No.
You're not on the socials
I just
anymore?
hope we can do this again, not 5 years from now,
I know,
6 years
yeah.
from now. But
We
you know,
will,
'cause
my
like,
friend.
Because this year is gonna be a phenomenal year.
Yeah,
It'll,
yeah.
You know, be a
Well,
tighter year even to put it together at top 10.
Right, exactly. Well, we'll definitely,
Yeah.
go see some movies
Yeah.
together. Maybe we can talk about like the big ones.
Mm.
If I can get you on again, that'd be fantastic. Thank you again, my friend. You've listened to Pretentious Cinephile 1982. Check us out on pretentiouscinephile1982.blogspot.com. Check us out on our Pinterest and our YouTube. And thank you guys. You have any final words you want to say there?
Tom Cruise, best actor.
Tom Cruise back actor. Okay. All right. We'll see where we go with that. All right, guys. See you guys later.